Hello and welcome to Earl Lornan Field as UMass Minutemen baseball begins here in just a bit for the second game of a doubleheader, A-10 matchup against the George Washington Revolutionaries. It's a battle for independence here on a beautiful Friday afternoon. Game time start, free game for you here. I'm Alex Polyak, and by the fervently adored Hobart, and we got a great game for you today. UMass comes into this game. They lost in the first game of the doubleheader. UMass loses 5-9. A pretty tough last ninth inning, which is great. We just got confirmation that we are live and where everyone's hearing us. So UMass comes into the game now with this loss, 11-24-1. Losing most recently earlier today. As for George Washington, they're 24-18, and their conference score 11-9. They're middle of the pack. UMass still at the top, at the lower end of the A-10 rankings. But now, Finn, after a loss, coming off a loss in a doubleheader, what does UMass need to do to get back some motivation and try to get back into the series of things and get maybe a bit more of a better perspective in terms of their A-10 play?
Well, Alex, I was lucky in one is this. They had five, one of the lowest between either. He's pitched 51 innings, really been their most reliable starter. 9 games under his belt. This will, by far, UMass's most reliable starter. He actually had a complete game, I believe, in his last out. He pitched 9 innings and only allowed the 1 run, if I recall correctly. And that is the exact kind of guy that you want when you've just been coming off of a relatively poor streak of games, which UMass is your ace who can come in and who can take command of the game, absorb a lot of innings. One of those guys who can say, listen, offense, you guys just need to give me a couple, and then we're going to get through it. And I think that that's the guy that UMass has on the mound today. So if they are going to turn this around, then it is going to be on the back of Kalen Powers.
That's right, Finn. And usually the starter, the head of the pack is Robbie O'Connor. He pitched the first game, did not have his best of starts. His ERA on the year is now 6.7. But Kalen Powers has by far proven himself as the UMass Minutemen's ace. Now, right here, we're still a little bit away from game start, but right before we begin, we didn't get a chance to do this in our first game and throughout our broadcasting here for WMUA, but Finn and I are big fans of poetry. Finn, what do you say about poetry as it relates to baseball?
Well, Alex, I like to say it this way. Baseball is but an extension of poetry. I say that having come from my poetry class right before this game. I had it today, and I've read a good number of poems that interweave the game and the art, and in my opinion, that baseball is that most poetic of sports.
That's right. Now, Finn, I've heard that you've prepared us a little poem before this game about the beginning, not about the beginning of baseball, but about baseball in general and how it relates to, a beautiful day at the park.
Indeed, indeed. I think that John Updike was one of the great writers of the 20th century and also one of the great baseball writers. He wrote the great essay, Hub City Fans Bid Kid Adieu. If you've never read that one, it's fantastic. But he also delivered a great poem called Baseball, which I think sums up really the power of this game in our lives and in our souls. And if you'll all allow me at home, I think I'm going to deliver it now for you to get us all into the spirit of the game before it starts.
Take it away, Finn.
Without further ado, here's Baseball by John Updike. It looks easy from a distance, easy until you stand up to the plate and see the fastball sail on your chin, or circle in the outfield trying to get beat on a small black dot a city block or more high, a dark star that could fall on your head like a leaden meteor. The grass, the dirt, the deadly hop between your feet and an overeager glove. Football can be learned and basketball finessed, but there is no hiding from baseball. That some are chosen and some are not, those whose mitts feel too left-handed, who are scared at third base, the pulled line drive, and at first base are scared of the shortstop's wild throw that stretches you like a gutted deer. There is nowhere to hide when the ball's spotlight swivels your way and the chatter around you falls still, and the mothers on the sidelines, your own among them, hold their breaths, and you whiff on a terrible pitch, or in the infield achieve something with the ball so ridiculous you blush for years. It's easy to do. Baseball was invented in America, where beneath the good cheer and sly jazz, the chance of failure is everybody's right. Beginning with baseball.
Thank you, Finn. That was absolutely lovely. And with the broadcast speakers, that just made it feel more ethereal than ever. Now let's move into starting lineups for the second game of the doubleheader. Finn, would you like to bring off the lineup for George Washington today?
Nothing would give me greater pleasure, Alex. So, leading off for George Washington today, it'll be the center fielder, number 7, Ellis Schwartz. Batting second at first base, number 23, Charlie Rogan. Batting third in left field, it's Greg Marmo, number 12. Batting fourth, the catcher, number 30, Robbie Levy. In right field, batting fifth, it's number 1, Sam Gates. Batting sixth at third, wearing the number 9, Ty Acker. Batting seventh, the designated hitter, wearing the number 35, Conlon Walker. Batting eighth, the shortstop, number 15, Cristino Tufano. Second baseman and number 10, Charlie Walsh. And pitching today for George Washington, being caught by Levy, it's number 20, Andrew Cutler, a right-hander.
As for UMass, batting first, center fielder, number 7, it's Anthony Tirado. Batting second, the short 24, Matt Travisano. Batting third, the right fielder, number 10, Carter Hansen. Number 11, at third base, batting fourth, Jack Beverly. Second base, number 2, Braden Nix, the first baseman. Batting 1, Mark Willie. Batting seventh, the catcher, number 9, Ryan. Batting eighth, the DH, number 2, Reese McCarthy. And batting fielder, number 4, Sam Hill. On the mound for the Minuteman is Kalen Powers, number 40, by Ryan Colbin. It'll be a great matchup so far, Finn. UMass now taking the field and doing warm-up throws. Anthem already played today, so I doubt we'll get a shot at that, but Anthem is in our hearts. But it's
true,
beautiful. Warming up, Finn, and a couple minutes before that. Any other thoughts you think on what UMass needs to do to take part in this game? They haven't been hitting the ball well, but they do have hope.
Well, I think that they showed a lot of heart towards the end of that last game. They did not go quietly into that good night. They fought through it. Jack Beverly and company to some business ninth against George Washington, and they were able to make it a bit of a closer ball game. They didn't pull through in the end, but the momentum was with them by the time they lost. So I think all they need to do is recall that and carry that momentum in here and realize that the opposing pitcher, no matter how well his season may or may not be going, the other pitcher is, at the end of the day, mortal. Now, Andrew Cutler is a very, very difficult opponent. He has started only a couple of games, actually, for George Washington. This is his second, and he does have an ERA of 1.89. So it can be easy to get cowed by a pitcher like that, a guy who's having a great year. But at the end of the day, they have to think about it this way. Somebody scored runs off of him. Somebody found a niche. Somebody found a flaw in his armor. So it exists, and it can be exploited. And I think that if they have that mindset, then they can do it. As for the pitching for Kalen Powers, I think that what he has to do is the challenge that every UMass pitcher has been faced with. Make sure to keep it in the strike zone. It is possible every once in a while that you will get burned, but more often than not, go well for you. And that's actually what's been going well for him. Nice high leg kick for him. He delivers over the top, and I'd have a beautiful game from him today.
That's right. Now, Kalen Powers stepping in for his first pitch of the game. Batting first is Ellis Schwartz, the center fielder. And the first pitch of the doubleheader is swung on and hit to about right field. Going on baseman, Braden Sullivan, called off by Carter Hansen. He takes the fly. 1 out in the game on 1 pitch.
And as per usual, Carter Hansen's hat fell off in right field. I don't know why, because he doesn't have long hair, but Carter Hansen loses his hat quite a lot. It's fascinating.
It was a great catch and good call off because Braden Sullivan was under it, but did not seem like he had a grasp on where it was. Stepping up now, the first baseman, Charlie Rogan. And now Kalen Powers. In the middle, fastball.
He's had a decent year, hitting .293. He's got an OPS 890, 4 home runs. So not a non-threatening hitter. Good things will happen.
The 0-1 is swung on and fouled back into the screen. Count 0-2 here with one out. Looks like Allen is throwing efficiently and strikes. That's something that you wanted to emphasize, right, Finn? In this, I heard you talking about in the previous game.
Absolutely, Alex. It's absolutely essential, and I think that the reason why Powers has done so well as a starter is he's got some of the best control on the ball club.
The 0-2 now is swung on and missed. Off speed, blown away. Swung right through it. Did Hogan, and there are 2 away here in the bottom of the in the top of the first.
4 pitches, 2 outs, averaging 2 pitches per out so far today. So Powers really having a fantastic start, and that's one thing that Rogan will do. He has hit well, but he that was his 26th strikeout on the year already. So that is one area where you can get him. Get fastballs, and then a breaking ball down and in looked like it was just a little bit too much.
That's right. Now stepping. First pitch from Kalen Powers is a strike. At bat right now is Greg Marmo. He's the left fielder, the right-hander. And the right-hander on the mound deals, and it was bunted down the line by Powers. He throws the first in time. Inning over. If top of the inning is over, down go Revolutionaries. 1, 2, 3. UMass coming to bat.
That was a fantastic inning from Powers, and you can already tell how George Washington feels about their opposing starter today, trying to bunt with nobody on and 2 out in the first inning. You don't see that a lot, Alex, so I'd be fascinated to see what they're able to do with Powers for the rest of the day.
No runs, no hits, no errors, and no one left on base. We'll be right back here on the WMUA YouTube stream. Thank you so much for everyone who has been listening to us so far. We'll be right back. And we're live back here in the bottom of the first inning as UMass comes to bat after going 1-2-3. After UMass pitching goes 1-2-3 in the top of the first. Stepping up now is Anthony Tirado, and to pitch now for the George Washington Revolutionaries is Andrew Cutler. 1.89 ERA on the year, but only his second start through 33 innings, through 3 in the third.
Now this might be how UMass can get him, Alex. It's possible that his stamina will not be
Inside called strike, out 0-1.
That is how it's ahead. He delivered a fastball inside, right in there on the hands. Tough pitch to handle.
Second pitch from Cutler is inside, same position, same exact area. Count 0-2 now on Anthony Tirado, the good on base hitter for the Minuteman.
Well, and he's also the man through which UMass's entire run game is predicated. 13 steals, the only guy on the team with double-digit stolen bases.
Pitch from Cutler is swung on by Travisano. Throws to first, and there's one away. That was Charlie Walsh with the putout.
Well, fastballs were the story of that at-bat. It did look as though his velocity is a little bit tougher for the UMass Minutemen to handle. But if anybody can handle this velocity, it would be Matt Travisano, one of the best bat-to-ball hitters that UMass has on the roster hitter. But he can get the bat to the ball, and he can take his walks.
Cutler as it swung on and fouled into fairly foul territory. The first baseman, he misses it. A bit of obstructed from our view, but did not get it. Travisano lucky there.
Looked like it nailed the George Washington Revolutionaries dugout. It would have had to be quite the sacrifice of the body in order to get to that one.
Travisano in the year batting .282, 754 OPS. He started almost every game for the Minutemen so far. And now Cutler looks in. The 0-1 is on the outside, but call a strike by the home plate umpire. Could have gone either way.
Looked like a breaking pitch that just about clipped the zone. It looked like it was a borderline pitch at best, but called a strike there. Travisano knows the strike zone better than anybody.
Now the 0-2 from Cutler. Same place, but not call a strike, was a fastball.
It's as though Cutler prefers to pitch on the outside as opposed to Toronto, where he pitched inside, trying to account for the fact that he might be to pull the ball down the line, get alive.
The 1-2 from Cutler is swung through and missed. Strike 3, and down goes.
That walking pitch again, it looked like it might have been a slider of the sort, and you can tell that if you get a strikeout on Matt Travisano.
That's right. Standing up to play now is Carter Hansen, the right fielder, batting .279 on the year, .281 OBP. He's one of UMass's better hitters, especially from the left side, as he steps in against Cutler, the right-handed. Inside knees.
Nailed on the foot. Time trying to disrupt Cutler's timing.
Neon yellow bat with neon orange tape. He swings through this pitch from Cutler. Ball is foul. Looked almost on the line, but he'll get another shot, most preferably for.
Indeed. Well, to quote the cereal ad, he's got to be thanking his lucky stars there, because if that had been fair, then it wouldn't have ended well for Hansen. He can get down the line, but it was going to be an easy play for the first baseman Rogan, and quite quickly. He's got long, lanky legs. He can get pretty quickly, Ken Cutler.
Very lanky is Cutler. And now the pitch from him, the 1-1, taking his time. Deals. Swan hit the center field fairly deep. Under it is the center field inning. So UMass goes no runs, no hits, no errors, and no one left on base. We'll be in the top of the second in a little bit. Thank you so much for listening to our YouTube stream. And we're back here in the top of the second as Robbie Lay, the shot at as George Washington tried 3. Score is 0-0, and Kalen Powers looks to continue his dominant game as he has in his past previous starts. The pitch from Powers is down, but
looked like a nice 12-6 curveball. It was a big looper.
Head quickly, keeping Levy to a single. But wow, what a piece of over the outswung glove of Hansen and right.
Times in baseball, Alex. What happened was it was a line drive right out to Hansen, who leapt for it. It clanged off of his glove and nearly into the ivy, but it didn't quite. And it was a very heads-up play to grab it again and get it back in the infield quick to hold Levy at first.
Coming up to the plate now, Sam Gates, and the left. No disengagements in college baseball, so he can do that as much as he wants. Obviously frowned down upon, but who knows? If it's a fast hitter, you want to maybe check on that. Now, looks in from the stretch. The pitch. It's 2-1 now.
Well, Gates' timing looked pretty wing, and he is batting .301 on the year. Not a prodigal power hitter, only 3 home runs so far, so unlikely to burn you with the long ball, but is the type to the outfield for a line drive.
2 on the runner first. Quick move by him, but still not in time.
Well, I think I think that Kalen's best bet here is to attack the zone, because Gates probably won't hit a home run. It's possible that he'll get a hit, but the only way to get ahead of him and make sure of it, getting the out, is keeping it in the zone.
Low in the dirt. Count 3-1 now. Pitter's count.
Well, this is a tale of a very different inning. I think that was the 6th pitch of the inning, Alex, which already exceeds his pitch count last inning. It was a 5-pitch inning that we saw, which was pretty impressive.
Well, Kalen wants to work through these. Ball 4. 2 men on now for the Revolutionaries. Levy at second, Gates at first now. Coming up the plate is Ty Acker, the third baseman.
Now, Acker doesn't really slug a lot, only runs, but the .328 average and the 4 is looking good. One thing that I do see from the numbers for him, though, is that he will expand the zone. He might be the type who will give you a couple of extra swings on borderline pitches, so Powers could get a ground ball here with that strategy.
And he does. It's a bunt down the third base line. Perfectly placed. He'll get there safely, no throw, and the bases are loaded now for the Revolutionaries in the top of the second. No outs to show for it.
The second time that George Washington has bunted today. The first time it was a little bit too hard and Powers got to it pretty easily. But this has been a strategy that we've seen from a couple of teams against UMass, Alex. They have been willing to try the bunt, try to force UMass to play some defense, and thus far UMass, unfortunately for them, has not been able to do it, and was an example of it there. And now the bases are loaded.
Still no outs as Conlon Walker, the DH, steps in, and the first pitch from Powers is high, 1-0.
Well, this has been the theme for UMass so far when their pitchers have struggled, is they fall behind most batters, and then when they do throw a strike, they leave it over the plate.
And now the 1-0 from Powers is in there. Fastball, strike 1, right down the middle. Something I've noticed about George Washington, lots of lefties in their lineup, and against the right-handed pitcher like Powers, definitely helps them out.
That is true.
Now the 1-1 from Powers in the dirt again, 2-1.
Now, Walker has fantastic plate discipline. He's unlikely to give you any extra swings. Not your traditional DH kind of hitter. He's only batting .245 with a .337 slug. He's only hit, actually, has not hit a home run this year, as it would turn out. So I think that it looks as though they are really betting on him.
2-1 is hit in the air, popped up in foul territory. Under it is Willie, the first baseman, picks it up, And now there will be one away, finally an out in the top of the second.
That was an unbelievably high pop-up there, Alex. It looked like it was going to go behind the cloud cover for a second.
Hit the ozone layer, Finn?
Good gracious. I mean, someone in the top floor of the W.E.B. Du Bois Library could have looked right out there and seen it at their nose level.
That's right. Now coming up, in the 8 hole, is the shortstop Cristino Tufano. He's a right-handed batter. And now Callan, with one out, finally faces a righty. And the first pitch of the at-bat, fastball high again, 1-0. Starts him usually off of a fastball, Finn. It's normally progression for all his hitters.
He does seem to have a
curveball, I guess. Sorry.
He does seem to have a get-me-over curveball approach. Tufano is a hitter that you can afford to attack, though.
Pitch is swung on and hit in the air to right field in foul territory. Cannot see if it lands or not. Does not. It will be in foul territory. No catch, so count 1-1 now. Kind of blocked off here on that view.
Yes. The George Washington Revolutionaries are congregated right in our line of sight for the first base line foul territory. As I was saying, Tufano's batting .232 with a .333 on base, .615 OPS. If there's any hitter in this lineup that you can afford to attack, it's him.
1-1, curveball outside, 2-1 now. And that's right, not a lot of hitters you can attack in this lineup if you look down. I mean, Schwartz, Rogan, Levy, Gates, Acker, all above 300. As the pitch on from Colin Powers is fired into right field, caught by the right fielder Hansen, but runners will tap the game.
Well, that was just a ball there. It was actually a lot too fun. We're used to seeing him, so Powers did not quite get the ground ball that right at somebody that he was looking with nobody out. You can't afford to get out of that with just a week and twice on Sundays.
That's right. Now the 9 hitter coming up to the plate. The second baseman is Charlie Walsh, another left-handed hitter for these Revolutionaries. As Callan looks in, nods, and the pitch. He swung on, fouled back, out of play, over the grandstand. Count will be 0-1.
Looks like we've got a fan in pursuit of that ball.
Balls are a rarity here in Earl Lorden Field. Every ball must be found and every ball must be given back.
It's true. Although players will always be going out there to retrieve them. They are to come by. They don't grow on trees, Alex.
The 0-1 from Powers is swung on, half swing. He did go. Runner goes from first. That would be Acker. Gets there safely. No throw from Colbin behind the plate. So now 2 men in scoring position for the Revolutionaries. And still more work to do for Powers. 2 outs, though. 0-2 count on Walsh. And the pitch. Swung on, hit in the air, right field, farly deep. Going back is Tirado. Tirado under him, makes the catch. Inning over. Only 1 run allowed by the Minutemen. What a way to come back after being 3 men on, bases loaded, and no outs.
Well, this is why they call Callan Powers the ace of the Minutemen, Alex. Loads the bases with nobody out, gets himself into the jam to end all jams, and he gets out of it with only 1 run. Absolutely, completely doable for this offense to come back into it, and that was an extraordinary effort from him. I think that Matt Reynolds has to be absolutely overjoyed with that performance, because that was a tremendous bit of grit that he showed there. And I think that now you just got to hand back to your bats and hope that they can do it. Jack Beverly is the type who can do that with 1 swing, so we'll have to see.
1 run on 1 hit and 2 men left on base for the Revolutionaries. UMass coming to bat now in the bottom of the second. We'll be right back here on the 91.1 FM. we're back here in the bottom of the second. Stepping up to the plate is Jack Beverly. Jack Beverly, the senior from Framingham, Massachusetts. Cutler, who went 1-2-3 in his inning in the bottom of the first, similarly to Powers.
Well, I tell you, Alex, always nice to see a local boy. Framingham, not too far from where I grew up.
That's right. Won't say where you grew up to dox you. And the pitch from Cutler, fastball right down the middle, strike one.
That's all right. I don't live there anymore. I grew up in Leominster.
No, it's a great place.
It is. I like it there.
And now the 1-1 from Cutler. Curveball hits the zone, off speed. 0-2 now.
Cutler has been absolutely nailing the edges here. This appears to be 100% for him. I mean, he's dialed in. The question, I think, is whether or not his stamina will last. It could be that UMass might get a chance later on if he begins to tire. Let's see.
The 0-2 from Cutler is high, fastball, 1-2 now.
Jack Beverly does have very, very good plate discipline. That's one of his calling cards, along with the power. A guy who could tie this ball game up with just one good swing. Let's see.
He's got 7 home runs on the year, does Beverly. And now Ken looking in the pitch. High again, 2-2. Beverly's worked himself back into the count.
So a 2-2 count that will be. And Beverly, guy with 29 RBI. The next would be his 30th, leading the team by far.
A 2-2 pitch, no outs from Cutler. Looks in. And the pitch is swung through and missed. Strike three. Got him on the change. He was caught dead red, Finn, and you.
That is true, Alex. That is true. I mean, I guess the thing that I would have to say about that would be that Beverly is one of those guys who will swing hard, and that will sometimes lead to a miss. I think that the net value that you get out of that is significant because you get a lot more power, you get a lot longer of a hit, but sometimes you just got to strike out if you're going to hit the home runs.
Braden Sullivan, the second baseman, steps in for his first at bat as he swings on and hits this one out of play down the right field line.
Well, that one nailed the pavement on the sidewalk there. I don't know if that ball is going to be able to be used for much longer because that was a hard line drive foul.
Definitely chalked up from all that pavement. And now the 0-1 from Cutler is a fastball right down the middle. 0-2 now.
Well, you can see already what's gotten Cutler to his fantastic start to the year. He's just been absolutely painting the zone, both with the fastballs and the breaking stuff. Everyone feels like they're 0-2 as soon as they walk up to the plate.
And now, as the 0-2, 1 out, bottom of the second, comes from Cutler, swung on and hit back over the grandstand, out of play.
A gift for the tennis
stays
players.
0-2.
I tell you, Alex, it isn't a bad idea to come down here and play a game of tennis because during a baseball game, you could very easily get a couple of baseballs that you could take home with you.
You really got to check campus events, Finn, as now 0-2 still on Sullivan. Cutler's pitch outside, trying with a changeup and missed. 1-2.
That was an excellent take from Sullivan. I mean, he'd been peppering that outer edge, had Cutler for the entire at-bat, so it'd be understandable if in the zone, but he did not do it.
Sullivan's got 4 home runs on the year. That is swung through and missed. Looks like he might have tipped it. Is he going back? Nope. I guess he did foul tip it, staying alive in this count. And count 1-2 still. I don't know if you saw anything differently there, Finn.
It did seem as though he fouled it off. I was kind of surprised that he was walking away with his head hung, but maybe he thought that he really should have gotten all of that one. Maybe he just mistimed what he thought was a hanging breaking ball.
Cutler's 16 pitch coming in here. Third pitch 1 1/3 innings already. And the 1-2 is swung on and hit out of play behind the grandstand again. Not in the tennis court, but on the grass right next to it. It seems like a hub of where all the foul balls are landing.
Well, there are a couple of people out there who were just getting ready to go into the court. I was afraid they were going to get nailed in the head, but fortunately didn't go that far. It's a dangerous place, Earl Lorden Field.
Now the 1-2, 1 out from Cutler is swung on, hit high. It's a pop-up to left field. Going under it is Marmo. He makes the catch, and there will be 2 away.
Well, he might not have gotten on base, but that was the at-bat you were looking for from Braden Sullivan if you are Coach Reynolds, because he stayed in that at-bat. He fouled off plenty of pitches. He kept in it, got it to a 2-2 count after being down 0-2. I think that if you are going to succeed against Cutler, it's going to come from seeing all of his stuff, getting every pitch as many times as you can, and then eventually when you get one that you can hit, you'll be prepared to drive it.
Mark Willie, the left-handed first baseman, steps up to the plate against Cutler for his first at-bat. And the pitch inside. Ball 1, 1-0 the count.
Mark Willie has really seized that first base job. He didn't actually start the year as the primary first baseman. Jack Beverly got in a couple of those games, but Mark Willie has really taken command there. He's got outstanding plate discipline, as most of the UMass hitters do.
Long stop from Cutler as the 1-0 is swung through and missed. Count 1-1. Cutler changing up his progressions depending on the hitter, waiting through the pitch clock on some pitches, sometimes holding it, sometimes throwing immediately when he gets it, messing up the hitter's timing. And now the 1-1 with 2 outs to Willie. Swung through and missed. 1-2 now.
That is definitely a distinctive part of his game for Mark Willie, but he does have some power. If he does get one to drive, then believe you me, it's going to be a big noise, Alex. The crowd mic is going to pick it up, I hear, if he's able to get a hold of this one.
Definitely a pull hitter is Willie. And now, again, waiting through the clock is Cutler. The pitch is swung through and missed. Strike 3. Willie down on strikes, and UMass go down in order 2. Do not score a run on no runs, no hits, no errors, and no one left on base. That'll be the end of the segment. We'll be back top third here on the YouTube stream. Thank you to everyone who has listened to us so far. We'll be right back.
Having some observations in the game so far. One of the notes that we've to go see, we haven't commentated all of them, but in the games we've seen, UMass actually had a bit of a bunting strategy as a consistent theme against them. It seems as though teams do believe that if they challenge the UMass infield, they can get on base via the bunt or the swinging bunt. We're going to see what happens here.
Ellis Schwartz stepping up. Second time around, first time flew on the pitch. He bunts, it's a pop-up. Going back is Coleman, just out of his reach. Again, another bunt fin, you've mentioned it. They are bunting heavily against these Minutemen.
And it is a shock because you know what Ellis Schwartz is hitting, Alex? He's hitting .351. Not at the hitter that you would traditionally expect to lay one down with nobody on and nobody out. You'd expect him to be given the chance to swing away. Evidently, teams seem to have a scouting report on UMass that if you force them to play defense, then your chances of getting on base dramatically improve.
That's right. And now Powers in his third inning of work here. 25 pitches so far. And the pitch is swung on and missed through. 0-2 now. Bunt out of the question for Schwartz.
That looked like a curveball that had an albatross attached to it, Alex. It just fell. It dropped.
Oh, it certainly did. From the windup, Powers 0-2. High fastball. 1-2 now. If you're just joining us, it's 1-0. George Washington up front. They scored a run with the bases loaded on a sac fly in the top of the second. And now the 1-2 in the dirt, way in front of the plate. Blocked well by Colbin, but he's slow to get up. Count 2-2.
Colbin looks like he's a little bit lame getting up there. It's a cruel position, Alex. I wouldn't the catcher position is just an enormous challenge. I mean, everybody has a lot of difficulties with it. We just got to hope he's okay. It looks like the trainer is coming out to check him. They're actually checking his shoulder, his throwing shoulder.
Might have hit him on. It was. I'll describe the pitch. It was in the dirt about 3 feet from the plate, bounced up. Did not see where it hit him, but I got to assume it was in the shoulder, and his right shoulder too, which is the problem. If people get on base, got to throw to second.
Yes, UMass has the hard-throwing catcher Michael Toth available. I don't know if he is available because he might have played the first game. So if Colbin does give way, then I think the next most likely option we'll see here who would be.
Now he's doing a little bit. Colbin throwing back to Powers just to see how it feels. Gives the okay sign to the home plate umpire and to Schwartz, and the game will continue. Count 2-2 now. No outs in the top of the third inning here.
Always great to see the Colbin playing through it. Great durability, great desire to play the game, great passion.
Powers 0-2 is swung on, reached out by Schwartz, was able to foul it off just barely. Count will stay 2-2.
That was I think you might call that a Bee Gees swing, Alex. All he was trying to do was stay alive.
No. They got more songs, you know, Finn.
They do. They have a song called Massachusetts, actually, which is really good if you listen to it.
I have. Swung through and missed. Caught on the foul tip. Did Colbin. Way to bounce back. And another strikeout. And a friend, I believe that's the first strikeout, first K for George Watt, for Powers here. And now 1 out in the top of the third.
I think it might actually been the second because he got Rogan in the last inning. Well, that looked like a great example of pitch tunneling, Alex. He's been busting Schwartz with a couple of curveballs at several points that would just drop. That was a fastball up. He must have thought it was going to drop more than it did.
First pitch to Rogan, left-handed batter, is in the dirt. Count 1-0. Rogan is the first plate appearance. He struck out swinging.
It was 3 pitches for Rogan. I think that he struggled mightily with catching up to the fastball.
And now the 1-0 is inside but up, so count 2-2 now.
That also looked like a fastball. One of the advantages that Kalen Powers has by getting those quick outs is that he's shown Rogan very few of his pitches. Rogan might not even have seen any of those great curveballs, and as such, there's a lot less that he can do in this position.
The 2-0 from Powers is swung on down the right field line, driving for it, does wheelie, but does not get it, and it'll be a 1-out single for Rogan, and now runners on for the Revolutionaries.
Well, you know what they call that, Alex? The announcer's jinx.
The announcer's jinx.
My bad, folks.
No.
I apologize sincerely.
Well, these Revolutionary hitters definitely know how to put bat to ball. Hitting quite well over 300, most of them. And now Marmo stepping up to the plate. He ground out his first plate appearance in the first. And now the first pitch from Powers from the stretch is swung on and fouled on. Out of play, just over the George Washington's dugout.
And off go the youth.
Oh, youths.
To be young again.
Finn, I'm telling you, if anything over there, I'm not getting it. But if it's a foul ball right to me, I've told you this before, I will catch it.
It's true. It's true. I believe you, Alex.
The 0-1 from Powers. First checks on first on the runner Rogan, but he'll deliver soon to Marmo, I'm sure. Marmo on the year has 6 home runs. Oh, 1 home run on the year, but still hitting .268. And the pitch from Powers swung through and missed. 0-2 now. Good pitch from Powers there.
Marmo was part of the bunting committee in his most recent effort at the plate, so he's also seen very few pitches out of Powers because he only saw the 1 pitch and he bunted it.
UMass trying to avoid more runs here as another check on first is unsuccessful. Rogan staying put.
Well, he could go for the strikeout here, but I think that Powers has every reason to try to just get a great ground ball right to Travisano.
Potential hit and run scenario here as the 0-2 is swung through and popped up into the infield. Under it is Sullivan. He tracks it and catches it 2 away, sorry. And now 2 away now for the Revolutionaries.
Well, it does not seem as though Powers is a traditional ground ball pitcher, mostly fly balls so far outside of the bunting efforts. It does seem as though some of his success might come from getting good rise out of his pitches, good spin rates that hitters end up getting under rather than on top of.
Stepping up to plate is Robbie Levy. He reached on an error and scored the 1 run for the Revolutionaries today. And the first pitch from Powers is called a strike on the inside corner.
Looked like a fastball down and in. For some left-handed hitters, that's right into the wheelhouse, but he didn't do anything with it, so we'll see if Powers thinks that he can come back in there.
0-1 from Powers. In the dirt, blocked well by Colbin. Staying put is Rogan at first.
Well, he did come back in there. He just came a little bit too far.
No, something you're interested in mentioning is how many teams will bunt against UMass, but UMass will never really bunt against teams. Not really their game plan when it comes to hitting.
Yes, outside of Toronto, UMass does not quite have that speed on the bases that other teams do. They got plate discipline, though.
The 1-1 from Powers is a curveball, did not hit the corner. Count 2-1.
Well, it was a beautiful-looking curve. Powers has one of those rainbow curves, and when he throws it just right, there is a pot of gold at the end for him.
2 outs, 2-1 count on Levy, and the pitch. Outside again, 3-1, hit a count. If you're just joining us, the score is 1-0. George Washington up on 2 hits. They scored on a sac fly in top of the first. Thank you for everyone who's been listening to this YouTube stream. Appreciate you checking in with us here on WMUA's YouTube. Very nice. And the 3-1 now is swung on, hit right in the gap between short and third. And runners and ran on the pitch, but did not on.
It looked like a hit and run, but it was hit just directly into left field, which get UMass a bit of a favorable situation there. It was just right into the glove of Sam Hill, so there was no possibility of continuing his effort. So a bit of luck for Kalen Powers, and men on both second and first, but I think this is one of those situations where you can't worry about the runners who are on. You just got to go for the out at the plate because there are 2 outs.
1 duck on the pond for GW as Sam Gates steps in. Walked in the first, reached third, but did not score in his first play appearance in the second. And now, the first pitch from Power. Swung on, but hit behind the 0-1 on the foul.
I was a little bit surprised to see Marmo running there for the run. He's only stolen 4 bases, and he's gotten caught twice, so almost as often as he steals. We'll see if that comes into play more often, if batters think that, or runners rather, think that they can advance on Colbin's arm. Toth is very effective at catching runners trying to steal, but Colbin might not have the same reputation. We're not sure.
Gates played 37 games as he hits this one to left field pretty deep. Under it is Sam Hill. Another Sam catches the ball barely, but that will do it for the inning. UMass able to get out of another jam of 2 men on, and they'll go back down. Pretty decent inning, Finn.
I think it was. I mean, there was a couple of fly balls, but none of them were hit particularly well. And if solid contact is not made, then you can rely on your effective outfielders to just cover that ground and the outs for you. UMass does have an effective outfield, I would say. Tirado, Hill, and Hansen have all done fairly effective work out there. I mean, bad luck for Hansen in the second inning, but it seems as though Powers' pitching style is working very well.
No runs.
Having the time of his life.
No runs, 2 hits, no errors, and 2 men left on base. We'll go now to the bottom of the third here on WMUA YouTube. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Back in the bottom of the third now, as Cutler will try his third inning of work against these UMass hitters. No hits allowed for the strong right-handed pitcher.
Ryan Colbin coming up to bat right now. UMass going down in order in the first and second inning, but Colbin trying to end that right here.
Now this might be getting towards the end of Cutler's outing. We'll have to see.
First pitch from him is a strike on the outside corner, 0-1.
He's been absolutely unbelievably effective pitcher, but he's made 13 appearances innings, so he doesn't usually go much more than seemingly about 3-4. That seems to be about where he peaks.
Pitch is inside, swung on, but hit down the third baseline foul. Count 0-2 now.
So, as such, I imagine that he might be beginning to tire, and if George tries to stretch it further, it might do a number on his arm or fatigue him. Have an opportunity against some of the other more vulnerable arms in George bullpen.
0-2 is up and inside. Count 1-2 now. He's thrown 27 pitches now, 2 innings of work, 3 Ks. Quite a gem, actually. Works up right to his name of a 1.78 ERA. You don't really see that often in collegiate sports.
Pitching a beauty.
1-2 is swung on and hit in the air. Left field and pretty, not deep. It's dropping in, but caught by Marmo. He ran on to get it. And now that will be 1 out in the inning. Looked a lot deeper than I thought, Finn. I really...
From where we're sitting, Alex, I mean, the height. It unfortunately had too much height and not the distance. We'd also like to wish a very happy birthday to Al Pacino today. He's 85.
R.I.P., man. What?
Still alive.
Alcatraz legend, right?
I think so.
I think so.
Anyway, that's just a notable guy.
Reese McCarthy now stepping in for his first plate appearance. The pitch from Cutler is swung through and missed. Count 0-1. McCarthy on the year, a .383 hitter with a .910 slugging. Does not play a ton of games, 47 at-bats, but he can swing it pretty well.
That he can.
And now the pitch from Cutler, 0-1, is outside, 1-1 now. McCarthy, UMass's DH on the day.
He's also got some experience, I believe, as a catcher in his alternative time.
The 1-1 from Cutler outside, tried it off speed and missed. Count 2-1.
Oh, sorry, that's incorrect. That's Kevin Schnupp. That's the primary third catcher, not McCarthy. My mistake.
McCarthy, a good hitter, but does not have a chance to field as yet for UMass as the 2-1 from Cutler swung through and missed. 2-2 now. UMass trying to make something of this inning as they've gone. First 7 batters have not reached base. As Cutler pitching a gem so far. Of the third, and pitch from Cutler. Strike 3, pair of shoes, Finn, and and down on strikes is McCarthy. 2 outs now.
Cutler has been absolutely living on that inside part of the plate. He might as well start buying real estate there because that is where he's been able to really bust those hitters. Tirado and now McCarthy both have gone down in that fashion, and it seems as though Cutler has figured out where to pitch UMass to avoid that hard contact.
UMass's 9-hitter now, Sam Hill, up to the plate, playing in left field as the first pitch from Cutler. Check swing, he definitely went. Count 0-1 now, 2 outs.
The pitch might have been a strike anyway. It looked pretty close to the zone. Hill has a very Paul Goldschmidtian-esque batting stance.
Sets in an interesting way on the back foot as 0-1 now. Strike called upper inside part of the plate. Count to 0-2 now, 2 outs. Now.
Hill had a stretch where he was missing some games with injury. Great to have him back.
Can break out in strange ways. 2 is fouled off, staying alive. Almost hit the booth. It was, I believe it was caught by one of the broadcasters or someone in that booth because George Washington's players on the bench have started cheering.
Well, well, well. We know a couple of the guys who were actually in the booth today. I believe it's John Ruggiero and Zeke Altman. If one of them caught the ball, that would be fantastic news. I mean, it's always great to have a WMUA insider doing well there.
0-2 from Cutler is outside. Tried a slider and missed. Count 1-2.
He'd been peppering the zone so far, but I think that was evidently one of those swings where one of those pitches where he had hoped to secure an ugly swing, but UMass with their plate discipline doesn't do that often.
Cutler trying to secure his third scoreless inning. Pitch, strike three, miss. Another pair of shoes for the Minutemen. Sam Hill does not like it, but UMass goes down in order again. 9 up, 9 down for Cutler, as no runs, no hits, no errors, and no one left on base for the Minutemen. We'll be right back on the YouTube stream for WMUA. Thank you. We're back here at the top of the fourth inning as the music crescendos. UMass, Kalen Powers on the mound still for his fourth inning of work. A quick reference here just to say something, because I may have misspoke earlier. Finn referenced Al Pacino, and my mind went straight to very similar Al Capone as I referenced him being in Alcatraz. So apologies there, but
I was talking about the thespian, Al Pacino.
He died, and there was nothing. And the pitch from Powers, the first pitch, outside, 1-0.
Tried that curveball again. He likes that pitch quite a bit. I'm reading a book about baseball pitching, Alex, and the curveball, there's a chapter written for it, a beautiful pitch.
It is, as the 0-1 now from Powers. High fastball missed. Count 2-1.
Fun fact for you, the curveball used to just be the only pitch that wasn't a fastball. I think that is one of the reasons why pitching has become as well developed as it is the idea of having any off-speed pitch at all, and that was the pioneer pitch, if you will.
A 2-0 from Powers. Fastball down the middle, strike one, count 2-1. No outs in the inning. George Washington still 1-0 after their sac fly. And the pitch from Powers, low. It will be 3-1, hitters count. Ty Acker, who singled in his first at bat, but did not score. And then a 3-1 is swung on and hit down the middle, saved by Sullivan, but not in time at all as he got to it too late. Acker will reach on an infield hit, the second of the game for him, 2 singles, and runners on.
That was a nearly impossible play, Alex. Braden Sullivan would have have the arm of Ellie De La Cruz in order second base, even where he was. It was an admirable effort to get to it, but just by getting in front of the ball, he might have avoided extra bases, which is already defensively valuable.
Robinson Cano would have gotten it. And now stepping in is Conlon Walker, left-handed hitter, as the first pitch from Powers is bunted down the third baseline. It will be out of play. Bad bunt, was a little bit of a pop-up, but no fielder got to it in time, so count on 1-1 now.
I can't quite recall, Alex. I think we might have seen a bunt attempt by George Washington in every single inning that we have seen, which is remarkable because the bunt is almost extinguished in so many other
batter they're bunting, and very consistently down that third base line, trying to get at Beverly. Beverly, you were mentioning, not the greatest glove team for UMass.
They have an opening there.
Check back on first. Does Acker there right now.
Seems to be concerned about Acker. I think he did attempt a steal last time. It ended up being more of a hit and run.
Yeah, definitely worried about the steals. UMass don't want anyone in scoring position or deflate, especially with no outs in the inning.
Indeed. That was back-to-back checks on first. Acker is absolutely in Powers' head.
Ackers has stolen 4 on 4 attempts as the 0-1 from Powers is outside 1-1. So he's very successful in his steals, but has not stolen a lot.
He seems to like to get the opportunity to. He's a smart. He's a smart base runner, if not the most prolific one.
And swinging through that on that pitch did Walker. Count 1 and 2 now. No outs in the inning.
That curveball looked like it came in about 2 feet below where the bat was swung. It just dropped out of there. Now I got the Jaws music going. We always like that.
Trying to get a K and maybe a bite, take a chunk out of this game. Take a chunk out of this game is Powers here.
Of course, Acker is lurking. Powers just delivered another one to first base.
And checking again.
Fourth.
His fourth disengagement.
He's thrown almost as many pitches to first base to try to get Acker as he has to home plate to get the batter. It's kind of remarkable.
That's right. Acker actually has 6 stolen bases. I believe he was caught stealing none. And the pitch from Powers is hit to right field and deep. Back goes Hansen at the wall, and it's gone. A 2-run home run for Colbin Walker, and George Washington takes lead here in the top of the 4th.
I think that might have been evidence of how much Acker was in. Powers seems as though he was persistently worried about Acker's attempt to steal, about the notion of getting some chaos on the base paths. The focus was divided between 2 different bases, home plate and first. And when you can't focus on one, then you're going to suffer on one or the other. And unfortunately, he hung one, and you can forget about that baseball.
The first pitch from Powers to Tufano is down and away, ball 1. That pitch, that home run pitch, was not a high fly ball. It was a line drive. So the 1-0 is high and inside 2-0.
Well, I think that the only thing you can do if you're Kalen Powers is just turn the page, wipe the slate clean. There are no base runners on. I think the only thing you can do is attack as best you can. 2 pitches behind, now 3 pitches behind.
Yeah, 3-0. That was a fastball way up in the zone. So 3-0 now. I don't think Tufano will be swinging at this one, but if I know the George Washington Revolutionaries, he might bunt. That seems like every third batter they're trying.
Well, it's the scheduled bunt.
3-0 pitch in the dirt, ball 4, and another base runner for the Revolutionaries now.
He would have had to have been lying down at home plate in order to bunt that one. That ball, I mean, that whole at bat, it seems as though Powers had the last home run in his head. It just didn't seem as though he was able to get composed and deliver as he'd intended to. Good time for a pitching mound visit, actually.
Meeting at the mound now as the pitching coach heads out, as well as Colbin, to talk things over with Powers. I mean, you look at Powers' stats, he usually keeps runs out of the inning. I mean, obviously a fly ball pitcher, but he usually tries to have quick counts, you know, and in this, at least in these at-bats, or in the game so far, he's kind of been working longer counts and not hitting the zone, giving up runs. I mean,
he has gotten into a few jams this game. After the 1-2-3 inning, he loaded the bases in the second, then had 2 men on in the third. And so he has been pitching around traffic, not had his ace stuff today, had to pitch around it and grind through it. And sometimes that does burn you if you get into a little bit too much trouble.
Charlie Walsh, up now, left-handed hitter, takes a fastball outside, 1-0 for 5th straight ball for Powers.
Didn't seem to miss by a great deal to me, but
Walsh flew out in his first plate appearance. And checking on the runner again is Powers. Tufano, they're in his head, Finn. He cannot get them out.
It does seem that way. He's worried about the batter. He does have a very high leg kick on the mound, which can delay his delivery to home plate, which gives batters, of course, more time to steal.
The 1-0 is high again. 6 straight balls for Powers. Seems like all he can think about are balls and the base runners.
It would seem so, Alex.
Don't quote me on that.
I will not.
And now Powers, the 2-0. High again, 3-0. Cannot locate his fastball. And now 3-0, 1 man on.
It's been curveballs in the dirt and fastballs above the hitters' heads for the better part of these last two at-bats, 3-0 now. It just seems as though he's lost a little bit of his composure after getting knocked around this inning.
And now the 3-0 from Powers. High again, ball 4, and 2 straight walks on 8 straight balls is Powers. And 2 men on now, 1 man on the pond. Fano at second, Walsh at first.
It wasn't particularly close, Alex. It was about nose height. So these pitches, the last one on Walsh and before that to Fano, just weren't really particularly competitive, which is surprising coming from Powers, who usually attacks the zone in a miserly fashion. So we'll have to make sure that he's okay.
Coleman making a sign to his field. Potentially a potential play they're going to try to get Ellis Schwartz now back to the top of the order to do.
Well, we'll see if they try another bunt. They did bunt to load the bases in the second inning. A similar strategy might be in play this time.
Beverly in at third as Schwartz takes a strike on the inside corner. First strike in 9 pitches for Powers. And it's 0-1.
The only thing he can do right here is attack, attack, attack. It does seem as though the mental side of pitching does get to him.
0-1 from Powers. High curveball tried again and missed. Count 1-1. 2 runs in the inning so far off a 2-run home run. God, I don't know, 2-run home run. 3-0 is the score on 5 hits by GW.
There's his pitch count, which had been in fairly good shape, is now getting a little bit out of sorts.
And now the pitch from Powers. High fastball, 2-1 now. Working back into the count is Schwartz.
Well, that, I think, was the 62nd pitch of the game for Kalen Powers. Not too bad for the 4th inning, but with only no outs, not what you're looking for if you're Coach Reynolds.
Finally a strike for Powers now. Hits it with a fastball.
That came swinging on a curve by the looks of things.
Curveball was a curve? Yeah, thank you. And now 2-2 now, no outs, 2 men on for GW as Powers pitches and swung on and hit to right field. It's a base hit. Fielding is Hansen. Advancing the third is Tufano, and the bases are loaded once again with no outs for GW.
Well, it was a great throw into the infield from Hansen. He's got a good arm, and he got to it very quickly. Did his pitcher a solid there. That is why Coach Reynolds has such a great deal of trust in the UMass outfield. They do have a good amount of composure there. So this is the second time in the game, I believe, that Powers has loaded the bases with nobody out. He got out of it with only 1 run last time. Reynolds would, I think, be absolutely grateful if he could do it again. You just want to keep the game as competitive as you possibly can. Charlie
Rogan up the plate, and he hits this one to down the line as a grounder. Not fielded by Sullivan, completely misses it. Only 1 run will score, but a run does score by Tufano, and GW now leads 4-0 over the Massachusetts at play.
Sullivan was ranging over, and he nearly got to it, but it looked as though just as he was trying to position his glove, the ball had an unfortunate skip and just got a bit away from him there, which he might not have been prepared for. The turf here is a little bit roughed up from the fact that we have already played a game here today. Grounds crew, of course, doing their absolute best work, and they do fantastically, but a couple of pebbles can be
First pitch from Powers is swung on and fouled back out of play. They're swinging on the first pitch. Another thing I've noticed, they've been swinging on first pitches of counts, and which is a very solid plan, as usually throw a strike on his first one. And now the 0-1 high and inside, count 1-1. Marmo up to the plate now for GW. He's grounded out and popped out in his 2 plate appearances, as the 1-0 with no outs from Powers is swung through and missed. Count 1-2. 4-0 is the score. GW has scored 4 runs on 7 hits, while UMass has scored 0 runs on 0 hits and given up a second error. Well, I don't think that was kind of an error, though. And the pitch is fouled back, literally to where Finn and I are standing, but thank God there was a backstop.
We both flinched, Alex. Both of us were afraid of that one. Good gracious.
Marmo on the year, 263 hitter. Can put back the ball a little bit. And now the 1-2 from Powers with no outs. And bases loaded. The pitch in the dirt. Blocked by Walsh. Was about to run from third, but did not. Stopped halfway. And that's a breath of fresh air for UMass, as that would have been another run on the board.
Well, we've seen a couple of games where wild pitches and pass balls have really done the Minutemen in. That was a great block from Colbin, so some great improvements that we're seeing there. If UMass can have those sort of great blocks in these kinds of games, then they can stay in them much, much deeper. Gives me great hope.
2-2 pitch from Powers is hit deep right field. Under it is Hansen. He makes the play. Tagging are the runners. Play at home, not in time at all. And GW takes another run on the board. That's their fourth of the inning, and it's 5-0 Revolutionaries.
Well, the Minutemen had been dodging big innings for really the last 2 frames before this, by loading the bases, by allowing 2 men on. And it seemed as though Powers' ace status and his composure was keeping them through it, but it does seem as though just a few too many base runners got on and got into the head of Powers. It is a lot more difficult to pitch out of the stretch than with the traditional leg kick that he usually goes for.
Robbie Levy up now, a left-handed hitter. The pitch from Powers is swung on, foul back, out of play. Another swing on the first pitch. Levy reached base on both plate appearances. He reached on there in the first and scored and singled in the third. And he's been playing a great part of this GW offense. And the pitch from Powers swung through and missed. 0-2 in a hole now is Levy.
Well, it hasn't been that Hansen hasn't had great stuff. There have been times when he's been able to blow his fastball by opposing batters and get them way out in front of the curveball.
Powers 0-2, swung through and missed. Strike 3. Levy down on strikes as finally UMass able to secure an out. 2 outs in the inning after that sac fly. And Powers trying to get out of this 4th inning of misery.
And finally, a reverse announcer's jinx there. You almost never see those.
Sam Gates up to the plate now. He's walked and flown out in his 2 plate appearances. And the pitch from Powers. Fastball just missed the zone high, count 1-0.
Well, it has seemed as though when he's able to nail the zone just the way he wants to, Powers does have his hitters on his back foot.
The 1-0 is high, count 2-0. Powers now reaching 72 pitches on the outing through 4. He'll potentially go 1 more if he can get Gates out. And the 2-0. Swung on and hit, pop up left side. Ranging is Beverly. He's under it and makes the catch. And that will finally end the inning. But not after GW scores 4 runs on 4 hits and take apart this Powers masterclass, which he had through the first inning. We'll be right back after this. UMass 0, George Washington 5. And we're back in the bottom of the 4th inning as UMass tries to bounce back against GW down 5-0. They will face Andrew Cutler again in his 4th inning of work after retiring the first 9 batters straight down. No hits allowed. Working a no-no so far. I'm trying to get announcer's jinx on that. Literally trying to manifest it. As Anthony Tirado, the leadoff hitter, and first hitter, batting first for UMass, steps up, grounded out in the 1st inning to second base. And Cutler now pitching from the stretch. pitch is swung on and bunted down the first base line. Grounding for it is but the pitcher does not get to it, and Tirado reaches on the first bunt of the game for the Minutemen.
Well, it seems as though UMass is taking a leaf out of the George Washington cookbook there, getting on base via the bunt, and that will break up the no-hitter just like that.
You know what? If it was not anything else, just to spite Cutler. But reaching on a great bunt does Tirado. And now stepping up, Matt Travisano. He struck out swinging in the bottom of the first. And now Cutler, now from the stretch fully. The pitch swung on and fouled back into the screen. Count 0-1.
We were worried about that one. Looked as though Travisano did time that one up very, very well.
Just didn't go in piece of it.
And Cutler, again, has not pitched very deep into a great deal of games, so it's possible that he might struggle the second time through the order. We've yet to see that.
0-1 first is checked on the first by Cutler, not in time. And if that's something that UMass can kind of get into GW's head, or at least in Cutler's head in terms of they might run, I mean, if anyone, Tirado would be that person, 13 bags.
13 stolen bases for Anthony Tirado. He's the guy through which the running game goes.
0-1 is outside, fastball missed, 1-1. No outs in the inning so far. Tirado on first base. If you're just joining us, score is 5-0. George Washington up here in the bottom of the fourth inning. And now the 1-1 from Cutler, taking his time through the right field. Ranging is Gates. He does not get to it, dives for it, misses it. And now UMass have two men on the single with no outs.
I tell you, Alex, UMass was about 2 inches away from extra bases and a potential run scoring. It was a great effort by Gates just to smother it, keep it in front of him as that hit landed for Matt Travisano. I mean, that was so close to being a double, but UMass will obviously take the 2 base runners to lead it off and hope that Carter Hansen, who's in the midst of another one of his hot streaks, hope that he can drive them back in there.
After retiring the first 9, Cutler has allowed 2 hits the first 2 UMass batters he's seen in the bottom of the fourth. Stepping up now, Carter Hansen. He flew out in the first 2 to end the inning, top bottom first. And the first pitch is in the dirt, blocked well by Levy. Count 1-0.
This has happened a couple times for poor Hansen. He nearly gets hit on the leg once again, just misses him once again, but I was impressed by the contact that he had at the end of his first at-bat. I thought that it was maybe just a few feet out from really being a challenging fly ball, maybe even gone. We'll see if he can do that again.
1-0 from Cutler is fouled back out play behind UMass's dugout. Maybe the ball is just attracted to his neon yellow bat with neon orange tape. I've never seen that combination before, Finn.
I sometimes wonder if it's just meant to be so vivid as to disrupt the pitcher and just distract their eyes such that they have a harder time delivering to the plate. I mean, batters will use anything that they can to get the advantage, so if it's a legitimate strategy, then it's a legitimate strategy.
Cutler now, the 1-1. Curveball missed outside. Count 2-1.
I've seen a few breaking balls from Cutler so far. Not his most dominant pitch. He's always established with that sidearm fastball. He does throw from the low 3/4, maybe high sidearm delivery. Tough for the opposing batters to get a track of.
2-1 from Cutler. Is swung on and hit in the air right field. It will be down for a base hit. Rounding third is Tirado. He will score. Rounding third again now is Travisano. The play at home, it will be reaching standing. It's a 2-run double for Carter Hansen, and UMass has been right back into this game. It's 2-5. George Washington.
Well, it looked like a fastball. It was just up and over the plate, Alex. And Carter Hansen made fantastic contact in his last at-bat. Did not leave this one too high. He got his bat all the way behind it. Beautiful line drive hit. And, well, the part of the ballpark that he hit it to, there was almost no play that possibly even made. All that the Revolutionaries could do was pray that it was foul. When it went fair, then UMass knew that they were going to be back into it. We got a ball game on our hands.
We got a ball game, Finn, as Carter Hansen on second base. Stepping up to the plate now is Jack Beverly, UMass's power hitter. Struck out swinging the first time up. And Cutler now in a bit of trouble. The first pitch is high and inside, almost hit Beverly. Count 1-0.
It does seem as though Cutler's control is beginning to fade here as he enters that fourth inning of work. It does seem as though the starter's workload isn't a traditional approach for him. He is working out of his traditional windup, though, so we will have to see if the control problems continue now that he's pitching how he prefers to.
The 1-0 from Cutler. Fastball hits the outside part of the plate. Count 1-1.
No, it's true. Cutler has colored through the first 3 innings. No runs, no hits, no errors. Literally retired the first 9, but now 2 runs given up as the 1-1 is swung through and missed. Count 1-2 now. Beverly trying to get another run on the board for UMass with no outs in this inning.
Well, Beverly's been struggling a little bit with the velocity out of Cutler's hand.
And Cutler now. The 1-2. Outside fastball missed. Count 2-2 now.
Even if he has not made the best of contact, even if he hasn't been squaring up the ball so far this game, one thing that never seems to fail with Jack Beverly is that fantastic plate discipline. He is always a very contained, very measured hitter.
Now the 2-2 is swung on, foul back, out of play, into the greenery behind our Lord Field here.
And there go the youth.
It's a beautiful day here, Finn. This is probably the nicest weather we've had here at Earl Lorden. Almost just over 70 degrees now. Nice bit of cloud cover so we can see our screens. We appreciate that.
This is the weather that baseball was meant for.
And now the 2-2. No outs in the inning to Beverly. Running is Hansen. He'll get there safely, but a ground ball to shortstop, and that will be fielded cleanly and thrown over for the first out of the inning. But advancing the third does Hansen.
It's possible that Hansen would have made it either way, and if there's any other batter who's able to steal a couple of bases other than Anthony Tirado, it might be Hansen. He does have some respectable speed. He's demonstrated that at a couple of occasions. That was just his 3rd of the year, but out of him the ability to the outfield, the ability to bust down the line quickly on. I think that allowing him to unleash on the base paths a little bit more often might make UMass more electric.
Now up Braden Sullivan, the first pitch to him is fouled back out of play. Same spot in the greenery. It's been magnetized, and here goes the youth, but also a UMass player.
We'll see if the
regaining his youthlessness, maybe.
Yes, well, let's see if the young folk get to keep that one. I worry a lot about, oh look, there's a dog tearing up a baseball on the side. I worry a lot about the possibility of one of these foul balls breaking a car window, Alex. I'm not going to lie, it is concerning.
0-1 from Cutler is a curve, or is a slider outside, count 1-1. It's true, I mean, there's a lot of kids at this game, probably the best game to come to. It's a Friday afternoon, classes are over. Where else than at a beautiful ballpark here in Amherst, Massachusetts? As Sullivan now at the plate, 1-1 count of him, 1 out. And set up the bunt, bunts it down the line, but foul. Wanted to get down the first baseline for a squeeze, just did not get contact.
Fascinating play, especially with a man at third, but it was the play that enabled UMass to get on the base paths to start the inning regardless, and their 2 runs were enabled by that start. So if the strategy is working for you, then don't question it, just lean far into it because you want to score any way that you possibly can.
Now the 1-2 from Cutler. The pitch. Outside and down. Count 2-2 now. Braden Sullivan can't bunt now with 2 strikes. If he bunts it, gets it fouled, it will be called an out. And he wants that sack.
Well, it looked like a sweeping slider that didn't quite find the zone. That's been a problem a couple of times for Cutler in this particular inning. He was dotting it the first 3, though.
1 out. The 2-2 is swung on, hit in the air, right field. This may get Hansen in. Ranging is Schwartz. He catches it. The throw at the plate is cut off. It will not be in time. And the UMass scores again on the sac fly by Braden Sullivan. And it's 3-5. George Washington.
This was the exact offense needed to have after the big 4-run inning from Kalen Powers. Show your pitcher that you're willing to support him, willing and able. to support him and giving him a little bit of backup and getting back into the game, making sure that you're picking up any slack that's been left. I think that this is exactly the mindset that they need to have, and a great improvement from UMass, who used to have an issue whereby they would only score in the first couple of innings and then would struggle from that point on. They're showing a lot of strength in these middle innings.
Now Mark Willie up, and he hits one just to center field, ranging is Schwartz. He gets it, and that will end the inning. But UMass, a dominant effort and to come back after being down 5-0. Score 3 in this inning after a 2-run double by Carter Hansen and a sac fly by Braden Sullivan. We'll go to the top of the 5th here on the WMUA YouTube stream. It's 5-3 George Washington. We'll be right back. And we're back in the top of the 5th as Kalen Powers in for his 5th inning of work. He's thrown 75 pitches in this game so far, and he'll face Ty Acker, who has singled in both plate appearances today, scoring on the 2nd. He's a left batter. Where's number 9? As Powers checks his wrist for a pitch, and pitch is swung on and hit the air, right field and deep. Ranging is Hansen. He's looking, it is over his head and against the wall. He fields and throws down the second base just in time, but reaching is Acker with a no-out double, and runners in scoring position already for GW.
Well, Acker was the batter who started to give Powers trouble in his, at the time, great game back in the 4th inning, already back at it here. And he is the type to threaten to steal, to roam around on those base paths. We'll see if he actually tries to get there from 3rd, but in scoring position already with nobody out, I'd be very surprised to see it.
Now, Colbin Walker, who homered a 2-run blast to right field just over the wall, steps up. And another check by Powers, checking on Acker again. He's got to focus on Walker here, because if he doesn't focus, Walker put another one over the wall.
That was Walker's first home run of the season, Alex. So a big moment for him. No doubt his teammates were celebrating in a major way there.
And now Powers now set. Righty-lefty matchup here. And the pitch is a curveball in for a strike. That's usually what Powers tries to get to. Start him off a curveball strike, then work inside with fastballs and cutters.
It is a beauty, Alex. It comes out looking as though, for all the world, it's going to be a fastball, and then it slows down and it just swoops in there like a diving bird.
No outs in the inning as the pitch is swung on by Walker and popped into left field. Ranging for it is Travisano, the shortstop. He gets it, and one away now. Runner on second stays put for GW.
That was excellent range from Matt Travisano. Not historically a shortstop. He was a third baseman a lot of the time last year and at the beginning of this year until Tirado kind of changed things up by ending up in center field, which created an opening at short. But by all of the makings, he's been able to handle position with remarkable efficacy.
Now up is Cristino Tufano. He has flown out. He got a sac fly in the 2nd and walked in the 1st, scoring then. And will face off against Powers once more. And he sets up for a bunt, then pulls back. Ball will be a high 1-0.
Well, it wouldn't be a George Washington inning without an attempted bunt, to be honest. So Now that that has been established, it's official. It is an official George Washington batting inning.
Pitch from Powers is fouled back out of play over the grandstands. That crash you hear is not of a car. It is simply the sound system making a little bit of fun here at Earl Lorden.
The soundboard operators have a lot of great fun here at Earl Lorden Field. It's always great. There's a great little bit of inside banter here at the field. It's good stuff. We love to be a part of it.
A lot of Hava Nagila chants. And now Powers, a 1-1 pitch with one out, one's wild, is swung on and hit down to shortstop. Fielding is Sullivan, throws to first just in time. A great scoop by Mark Willie, and 2 outs in the inning as Acker advances to third base.
Well, the throw had the distance, but it was a little bit offline. Mark Willie used that body. He came in really down towards home plate and stretched out there. You don't actually see first baseman stretch that way very often, but Mark Willie was prepared to do so. A great fielding effort from him to keep that bag and get the second out.
Up now is Charlie Walsh, the left-handed hitter. The first pitch from Powers is inside, fastball missed, count 1-0.
Well, in spite of the double, this inning, Kalen Powers has looked a lot more like himself. He's fallen behind on a couple of batters, but on a whole, he's remained composed, made pitches when he needs to.
Now the 1-0 is swung through and missed by Charlie Walsh. Count 1-1. And Walsh has flown out and walked in his 2 plate appearances.
And it looks like we're going to have a conference between manager and hitter here. Looks like Richie's going to...
Can they do that?
Well, they are doing it, Alex.
Greg Ritchie in his 13th season at the helm of GW Baseball.
He is a venerated figure here, and if there's anybody on the field today who is qualified to interrupt an at-bat to give some advice,
sense.
it would be him.
Walsh trying to get that runner home from third, that being Acker.
Well, we'll see what he does after what Richie said to him.
Potentially laying out a bunt, if this game has taught me anything. As the 1-1 from Powers. It'll be a fastball, off speed, hit the outside corner, count 1-2. UMass one strike away from getting out of this inning.
Well, Powers has a nice, smooth motion there. He brings his leg up and his knee back.
And the 1-2. Outside, 2-2.
And when he's able to do that effectively, when he's able to work those mechanics well, and when he's doesn't have runners on base and doesn't have to pitch out of the stretch, then it really does work to its absolute most efficient point.
Is swung on. The ball is swung on and hit in the air, right center field. Ranging for it is Torado. He'll make the catch, and that will end the inning. UMass finally get another scoreless. They gave up 4 in the 4th, but 0 in the 5th. A great inning of work there from them, Finn.
That was a tremendous, tremendous effort from Kalen Powers. Pitched around out of a jam once again, and that was the inning that you needed to see out of him if you are Mark Reynolds, because he showed up, and after the offense got him back into the game, he had that shutdown inning. Keep the offense in it, show them that you're going to give them another chance, and I think that will be what gets UMass back into this game if they're able to do so.
No runs and left on base. We'll be right back in the bottom of the 5th. Thank you for joining us on WMUA Sports YouTube. Back in the bottom of the 5th now, as Andrew Cutler, in his 5th inning of work, trying to continue to take down UMass hitters, or actually come back after that 3-run inning in the bottom of the 1st. Ryan Coleman, who flew out in the 3rd.
Well, it did seem as though the starter's workload was starting to get to cut last, inning, but they're going to try to continue with him here. We'll see what happens.
The first pitch is a strike, a fastball in the outside corner, count 0-1.
Well, that looked a lot more like the Cutler of the first 3 innings. That one, that nice sidearm delivery and a crisp.
In the air, right center field, fairly deep. Under it is Schwartz. He'll make the catch at the warning track, basically. And that's 1 out down for UMass.
Well, that's probably frustrating if you're Colbin on that one, because that's about as far into center field as you can possibly get it without being rewarded with a long ball.
If you hit that right or left, it'd be out. 400 feet. 400 feet is about how far it is. Center.
I'd bet that one finished at like 393 or something of that sort.
Reese McCarthy steps up the plate for a second at bat. Fouls the first pitch from Cutler into the screen. 0-1. Struck out looking in the 3rd inning.
Well, McCarthy has not had as many opportunities as some of the other UMass hitters today, but he's making the most out of them, hitting .375 at the moment.
0-1. Check swing did not go outside. Count 1-1 with 1 out here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Cutler has thrown 62 pitches. Pretty well conservative outing for him. He might pitch more, depending on how much they allow him.
Whatever Richie seems to expect out of him.
1-1 is swung through and missed. Count 1-2. Reese McCarthy, he had a good at-bat his first time, but just did not seem to think that they would throw a strike on a 2-2, 3-2 count. Now count is 1-2. And the pitch is swung on and hit in the air to center field. Schwartz is under it. Routine can of corn for him. And 2 outs in the inning. Well,
that's the art of baseball, Alex. Sometimes you hit a 50-mile-per-hour dribbler down and that ends up with a hit. And then sometimes you have a 101-mile-per-hour fly out to straightaway center and you get rewarded with an out. I think that both hitters did really their job, hit the ball hard, get it in the air, have a good launch angle, and both of them got punished for it. But getting that kind of contact will reward them as the game continues. They just got to come away with a good mindset.
2 outs now. Sam Hill up. He hits it down the 3rd baseline. Fielding it is Acker, but does not come up with the ball. And Hill will reach on an infield single. First hit of the game for him. And UMass has runners on base in the bottom of the 5th.
That's one of those plays where it looks easy when you see it done at the major league level, when a guy comes in on it and smoothly comes up and delivers. But the fact of the matter is, if you don't come up immediately, then there's absolutely no chance. And Acker, I think, just tried to get to it as quickly as he could, come up as quickly as he could, and fire. But it's very, very difficult to do, and with Hill running down the line the way he did, made it as difficult as he possibly could.
Anthony Tirado up now as Cutler checks on first, not in time. Tirado has grounded out and singled in his 2 plate appearances, scoring on his 2nd dominant hitter of the game. He's the one who started off their run, the bottom of the 4th. And the pitch is outside from Cutler, count 1-0.
Well, Tirado got on via the bunt his last go-round, so it would be a little bit surprising to see him attempt that here, but he can use his legs to his advantage in numerous ways. He can put a lot of pressure on this infield.
2 outs now as runner goes from first, swung on and fouled back into the screen, count 1-1. Hill was running, did not get a chance to finish that run at all.
Well, Sam Hill this is his 21st game, and that would have been just his 3rd stolen base had he gotten it. It looks as though UMass also seems to think that they can put a little bit of extra pressure on the catcher behind home plate there.
UMass trying to work hit and runs, not many stolen bases attempted. And now the 1-1 with 2 outs from Cutler. Fastball called strike on the inside corner, count 1-2 with 2 outs now.
Well, I think that if you're Tirado, you just have to swing to survive at this point. Only 1 strike to go in the inning, and you would love to give Powers a little bit more help there on offense if you can.
1-2. Runners go, but swung through it does Tirado. He'll go down on strikes, and that will end the inning. Well, Cutler does a great job getting through trouble, allows 1 hit, but mows down the rest, and that will put the UMass down. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 man left on base. We'll go to the top of the 6th here on the WMUA YouTube. Thank you very much for listening. And we're back here in the top of the 6th inning. New pitcher for UMass, it's Bobby McDonough. Finn, what's your scouting report on him?
Well, Bobby McDonough has not quite had the year that he was looking for the Minutemen. Number 33, his whip is 1.97 in 25 and a third innings. His ERA sits at 9.59. Now, walks have been a trouble for him. He's got 17 walks, almost as many innings as he has pitched. The home run, though, has been something that he has been able to contain. He can keep the ball on the ground here in Earl Lorden, which isn't the hardest park in baseball to hit them out of. So, for him, I think it starts and ends with the ability to get the ball into the strike zone. He hasn't done that as much as he'd have liked to this year, but when he can get those ground balls. He can put it into his infield's hands and allow Travisano, Beverly, and Sullivan, and Willie to really do most of the work there. So that's what he'll be hoping to do as we get in here. Wearing the high socks, his delivery, low leg kick, and then a bit of a hesitation before he fires.
And Mass now relying on their bullpen, a struggle they have had of late or throughout the whole season, where their bulk relief has not come through from them. Bobby McDonough is trying to break that stereotype here in the top of the 6th. Coming to bat now, the leadoff man, Ellis Schwartz, comes up after going 1 for 2 on the day, single in the 4th.
Well, Schwartz is their slugger if ever there was one. He did actually have a couple of bunt attempts in this game, but hitting right around 350 with some solid center field defense. Exactly what George Washington would be looking for out of their leadoff man.
First pitch from McDonough. Fastball right down the middle, strike 1. Good start off to the inning for McDonough.
When he's going well, that's what he's doing for Bobby McDonough.
He looks in from the stretch, and the pitch is outside. Tried an off-speed and missed, and count 1-1. Clouds have formed over Earl Lorden Field here. No chance of rain as of yet, but potential nonetheless. It seems it has rained every time we have called a game.
It's true, Alex.
And the pitch from McDonough, fouled back into the screen, 1-2. McDonough working well in this first at-bat.
Well, he looks like he's got a bit more of a command of the strike zone today, Alex, as the field goes a little bit gray here below the sky that the sun cannot manage to pierce through.
6 hit by pitches for McDonough. Keep in mind, as the 1-2 inside does not hit him, thankfully, and count 2-2.
Nearly the announcer's jinx.
6 hit by pitches in 25 innings. Allowed 33 hits, so if in every inning he has pitched, he has given up at least 1 hit.
That's the rate at which he's going, Alex.
The 2-2 is swung through and hit out of play behind home plate, behind the grandstand. Foul ball, says the speaker.
Yeah, indeed. And that's one of the challenges of not being able to figure out the control. It's not just the fact that you're hitting batters and walking guys. It's that you also struggle a little bit more with placing it within the zone.
The 2-2 from McDonough is low inside fastball. Count 3-2.
And when that happens, then hitters have a much greater ability to hit the ball. So not only does poor control lead you to fall behind in counts, it also leads to more hittable pitches, weirdly enough. So the game starts and ends with that.
McDonough, the 2-2. Strike 3, pair of shoes. Schwartz does not like it. But McDonough, big K right there, taking down GW's top hitter. And they're 1 away.
And that is such an important out for Bobby McDonough. Sometimes it's all about getting the first batter out, establishing early, avoiding those base runners with nobody out. You give yourself a lot less trouble when you're doing it that way, and that was a fantastic start from Bobby McDonough, just what he's looking for. And now we can take this momentum into that next at-bat here.
Charlie Rogan up to the plate now, as the first pitch from McDonough is fouled deep to left center field. Toronto is looking at it. It is gone, up, and away. And Charlie Rogan put some power into his left-handed swing, and GW runs on the board, 6-3. They're winning.
Well, that's been one of the things that Bobby McDonough has actually done very, very effectively. That was only the 3rd home run that he's given up. He had pitched over 25 innings with just 2 allowed. So that was a fairly effective rate of home run allowance, but really not really what he was expecting here. And that'll make it 6-3 in favor of the Revolutionaries.
And the stronger they come, the stronger they fall. McDonough had a great pair of shoes, non-swinging K, but then coming up with a home run right after. Now what you want to see as the first pitch from him to Greg Marmo is a ball on the outside. And Marmo has grounded out, popped out, and flown out. Almost the Devil's trifecta right there.
Huh.
And McDonough just trying to get outs on the board as the 1-0 is called a strike on the outside corner. Looked like it was off-speed pitch just hit.
Well, Marmo, not a traditional power threat. He's only had the one home run on the year so far, so a guy that you can get to put on the ground.
And the pitch from McDonough hits Marmo, something that McDonough is known for. His 7th hit by pitch this year, and a runner on base again for George Washington.
Well, the 5th time that Marmo has been hit by a pitch. Not really one of those who has the greatest proclivity to it. Normally, pitchers like to nail him on the outside, but Bobby McDonough came a little bit too far in on that one.
Robbie Levy coming up to the plate now. Reached on air in the 2nd, singled in the 3rd, and struck out swinging in the 4th. McDonough trying to save his team. As the ball gets by, it'll be a pass ball to the backstop. Advancing to 2nd is Marmo, and UMass relievers now imploding once again in this second game of the doubleheader.
Well, that was something that's pretty common for UMass. The struggles with the pass balls and the backstop has been a periodic issue, and that's one of the reasons why so many crooked innings have been established against UMass.
And announcers curse after announcers curse. McDonough, I'm going to say it again, trying to get out of this inning unscathed completely after giving up one, as the 1-0 is low and inside 2-0. Just can't seem to locate the strike zone after that beautiful K against Schwartz.
Well, Robbie Levy has only been hit once on the year, but he's almost been hit with both of the pitches of this at-bat.
The pitch is swung on and fouled back into the backstop. Count 2-1 now. One out here in the top of the 6th inning.
Levy frustrated with himself. It looked like that ball was inside. He seems to regret the swing just a little bit.
And now McDonough coming out to here. One out, man on 2nd. From the stretch, the pitch is low and again low and inside 3-1. Hitters count for Levy. And GW threatening now again with a duck on the pond.
McDonough seems to really want that swing and miss pitch. He wants to get Levy to swing right over it, but the trouble is, behind in the count, Levy has no incentive to try to expand the zone here.
The 3-1 is swung on and hit down the line, foul down the first base line. Count 3-2.
That is one of the troubles of peppering him with breaking balls low the way he has been doing, is that hitters are not nearly as tempted when they are ahead in the count, when they are in control, and McDonough, as such, has been a little bit off kilter this at-bat.
The 3-2 is hit on the ground to 2nd. Sullivan Fields throws the 1st, and there are 2 away. Advancing the 3rd does Marmo.
You can call that a 4-3 put out in your scorebooks at home.
I gotta start doing that.
McDonough would be happy to get out of this with just the 1 run. A solo home run is obviously unfortunate, but it's not going to kill you if you're a pitcher. And so if he can just get out of this inning here, then UMass will still be in the game.
Sam Gates steps up to the plate now. He is one for 2, as the first pitch from McDonough is low and inside. Same type of pitch, looks like it's a curve or slurve that hits. This is not biting by any of the GW players.
He is periodically missing well down by McDonough. I wonder what the issue might be. It could be mechanical, it could be mental. There's no way of really telling.
1-0 is low, so count is 2-0 now on Gates.
It's possible that maybe he's trying to get around on the ball a little bit too early. He's trying to overthrow it.
2-0 is swung on and fouled out of play, just over the backstop. Count will be 2-1. McDonough finally getting a strike there.
Well, it hasn't been the inning of his dreams so far, Alex, but he can get back into it here with just one more strike, even up the count.
2 outs, man on 3rd. in the top of the 6th inning. The 2-1 is outside, ball 3, 3-1 now. Hitters count for Gates, trying to put more insurance on the board for GW as they lead 6-3. And now the 3-1 from McDonough. In the dirt, ball 4. And Gates will walk now. Men on the corners for GW as Acker will come to the plate here in a good spot for the Revolutionaries.
Well, of course, not really the ideal way to end that at bat, but there is always something that you can get out of it. Now there's a force at second base and at first, so that does take a little bit of pressure off of that UMass infield, especially Sullivan and Travisano. So a little bit of an easier play that could be made on a ground ball here potentially, especially in the circumstance where a ball is pulled to one or the other.
Acker 3 for 3 on the day, top hitter for GW as he takes the first pitch, a ball on the outside part of the plate. You know, Acker has really been seeing the ball well from UMass pitchers so far today, 3 for 3, and all of them on hard hit balls. As McDonough now 1-0. The pitch is swung on and fouled out play over the grandstand again. Similar spaces these foul balls have been heading, but it is a strike nonetheless, 1-1.
Well, Acker now threatening with Ellis Schwartz there for the Revolutionary batting crown for the personal leader. And I think that was swung right through. I think that got the UMass.
And I've been saying it all day. Gates on flags on the year, but only been caught time, with a stolen base percentage of 72.7%. As the pitch is swung on and missed. Swung on and missed by Acker, and that will end the inning on the swinging strike 3. Running for first was Gates, did not get a chance to get the first, get the second. And UMass will finally end the inning after McDonough gives up 1 run on the long ball. On the long ball to their, on the long ball to Cristino, or sorry, on the long ball to Charlie Rogan. But no runs besides that. Gets out of a jam, a man on third and first. And we will head to the bottom of the 6th here on the YouTube stream for UMass Baseball. And we're back here in the bottom of the 6th inning as Andrew Cutler steps in for his 6th inning of work. Incredible from that right-hand batter. And stepping up to face him is Matt Travisano, who's 1 for 2 on the day with a single in UMass's 3 runs. As Cutler deals from the stretch, the pitch. Fastball hits at strike 1 on the outside corner. Count 0-1.
Well, it does seem as though Travisano figured out Cutler a little bit in his last at-bat. This is a remarkable length out of Cutler, who's mostly been a reliever.
The 0-1 is in the dirt, completely unawares as to where it is the catcher, Levy, and a count 1-1.
Yeah, that one was just a bit outside, to quote Bob Euchre.
And not to any degree as Ricky Vaughn had his fastball outside, but pretty close in this regard. As Travisano trying to make something happen for UMass as the 1-1 is swung in through and missed by Travisano. Count 1-2.
Well, outside of that one at-bat that ended with a hit, it does seem as though Travisano's been on the back foot for the better part of this game, at least at the plate so far.
The 1-2 from Cutler is swung on and fouled back. Made contact with it this time, but stays at the count 1-2.
He did. One of the things that you'll notice very quickly about Andrew Cutler, he works very, very quickly. You know, here in the broadcaster's table, it is a little bit tough to get our comments in before each pitch. He operates at almost warp speed.
Sometimes he does. He switches up his progressions as the 1-2 is swung on and missed. Strike 3. Travisano down on strikes, and UMass is now looking to get some more production out of more of their lineup from Hansen.
Well, K's in 2 out of the 3 at-bats. For Matt Travisano, really not what he was looking for. A bit of a shock. Actually, he's not known for that at all.
He does not strike out often.
No, he does not out. That would have been, I think, the 34th strikeout on the year for him.
Stepping up to the plate now, Carter Hansen. He had an RBI double in the 4th on the first pitch. Right now, he swung through and misses it. Foul tip and into the glove of Levy, 0-1.
Could hear just a little bit of contact, but unfortunately for him, he couldn't quite get behind that one.
Now, Cutler. His 77th pitch is in the dirt. Checks on the check swing, did not go, count 1-1.
Yeah, that did not look particularly close to a swing. I mean, you can definitely tell where that neon bat is, because it is a bright bat, let me tell you.
It is the yellow light in the stop sign. As the pitch is swung on and hit in the air to left field, the pop fly, ranging is Marmo. He'll make the catch, and there are 2 away.
Well, Marmo hasn't had too much work so far. A lot of the UMass hitters have grounded out, actually, or flown out to center, but that high pop-up, he had about a month to think about it and figure out where he was going to position himself.
Jack Beverly is going to take his 3rd at-bat of the game after striking out swinging and grounding out in his 2 plate appearances, but a dangerous hitter nonetheless. 2 outs in this inning. UMass trying to get some sort of run together as the first pitch is in the dirt from Cutler.
Well, it's a good start to the at-bat for Jack Beverly. That patient approach has always been serving him pretty well.
And now Cutler working up to 80 pitches now as the pitch is swung on and fouled down the 3rd baseline, way out of play. Good hit, but just way foul.
Very, very high in the air as well. And this will probably be the last inning that UMass sees out of Andrew Cutler. It would be great to get a run off of him here if you're UMass, but they will have the opportunity to face maybe some of the more vulnerable relievers later on.
Pitch is in the dirt, count 2-1. And you mentioned it, Finn. 5 2/3 innings from Cutler, only allowing 3 runs on 3 hits. He's been quite dominant, faced 21 batters, has not walked anyone with 7 strikeouts. One of GW's most dominant pitchers, and one that usually plays from the bullpen. As the 2-1 now with 2 outs to Beverly is high and inside. It looked like it was a slider that faked out the right-hander, and now count is 2-1.
Well, Jack Beverly thought that was going to maybe nail his cheekbone a little bit. He managed to get out of the way just in time, though, and the slider helped him out by running back away from him.
Hitter's count now for Beverly as he fouls this one way out of play, backstop. Did not go into the tennis courts, but if there was a car going down that road, windows would be broken.
One of several fly ball fouls that has nearly broken the lamp post behind the field here.
3-2, 2 outs. The pitch is wide. It was inside. No strike 3 called. He did not swing, and Beverly gets a board here. Good eye from him with 2 outs here in the 6th.
Well, he hasn't quite been managing to square up the ball so far today, Alex, but one of the things that has always kept him in is that plate discipline. Whenever you're patient, whenever you let the game come to you and you don't swing out of your shoes to try to force something to happen, good things can happen, and getting a man on base is always irreversibly and incontrovertibly a good thing if you're an offense.
Braden Sullivan steps up for his 3rd at bat, 0 for 2 on the day. Got a sac fly in the 4th. One of UMass's, again, 3 runs. 3 runs on 3 hits. So just incredible from GW. And something GW does really well is their relief. Their starters average above 5 ERA. Their relief is 4 and below. Quite incredible pitching from them as the first pitch is swung on missed by Sullivan. Swings through.
Well, he strike out to end the first game of this doubleheader, Alex.
Wind started to pick up here at Earl Lorden Field as Cutler prepares to throw his 86th pitch. The 0-1. Called strike on the outside part of the plate. 0-2.
Well, if you're Braden Sullivan, you'd be really remiss not to try to get ball high in the air to center field because the wind is blowing strong out into the outfield. This is probably the best weather for it.
0-2, 2 outs. The pitch is swung on, hit in the air to left field. Ranging is Marmo. He won't get it. It's up against the wall. Going to third is Beverly. Going to second is Sullivan. And going home is Beverly. The play at the plate is not in time. Beverly scores, and UMass are on the board again with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 6th inning.
Well, what did I say, Alex? Get a ball out to center field and let the wind take care of the rest. That was a fantastic little bit of hitting from Braden Sullivan there. Splits the outfielders and gets the line drive hit there. Terrific stuff out of him. And this was the inning that UMass was looking for a little bit of 2-out magic, and now a runner in scoring position to keep it going. So if they are to come back into this game, then this might be the inning to do it. This might be their best opportunity.
Meeting at the mound now as the pitching coach comes out to talk to Cutler, reassuring him obviously 2 outs in this inning. He just needs to get through 1. But runner on second, Sullivan, great piece of hitting, really lined into that ball, and Marmo in left field had no shot of getting it. And now UMass has a chance to tie up this game. Tying run coming to plate in the form of Mark Willie, a hard-hitting left-handed hitter.
Well, Mark Willie likes to keep his hands way back at the plate. He preloads, really. And I think that what that helps him do is it helps him deliver quite the snapshot swing. He's able to get that bat around very quickly. And he does strike out some, but when he makes contact with the ball, believe me, the noise is prodigious.
Yeah, 32 strikeouts and 100 plate appearances. 27 hits, he's averaging a 270 average with a 360 OBP, but trying to get Sullivan home, is he? But I think that will do it. It looked like it was a pitching meeting, but I believe they took him out of the game after that, had a meeting with him and say, how you feel? He must have said, not great. And that will do it for Cutler. So his line on the day is 5 2/3 innings, 4 hits, 4 runs, and 7 strikeouts. Great piece of pitching on 88 pitches, Finn.
Yeah, of course, that 1.89 ERA that he had at the very beginning of this outing will not quite hold up, but nonetheless, this was really a very good pitching performance for what George Washington needed on this particular day. And normally, of course, Cutler has to work out of the relief role. That's usually where he's more comfortable. So he was a little bit out of his usual structure here, and I think that he did an admirable job of responding to an unexpected challenge.
That's right. Well, pitching change has been made. We'll be right back in a little bit. Thank you, everyone, for joining us on the WMUA sports stream here on YouTube. We'll be right back.
Welcome back here to the bottom of the 6th inning in a 4-6 UMass George Washington matchup. George Washington has been leading so far, and Andrew Cutler had been pitching very well for the Revolutionaries thus far, but he's given way now to Cade Davis in relief. Versus coming in with a 3.03 ERA. He's pitched 29 2/3 innings, and he keeps the walks under control. Doesn't strike out many, but he does keep the ball in the zone and on the ground. He's a lefty, which is a good matchup against the lefty Willie.
Well, 2 outs now. Willie swings at the first pitch. It was inside, count 0-1. Willie has struck out swinging and flown out in his 2 plate appearances, but looking to bring Sullivan home from second. The high leg kick from the lefty Davis is called a strike on the outside part of the plate. Count 0-2.
It does seem as though the battle of the 2 revolutionary and historic teams based on UMass.
The 0-2 is swung on and fouled back to the home plate. A foul back to the backstop. Count 0-2 still.
Poorly timed bit of commentary from me there. As I was saying, the battle for independence, the battle for American history itself between the Minutemen and the Revolutionaries is a nail-biter already.
And the 0-2 now. Outside 1-2 here in the bottom of the 6th inning. 1 run scored already. I tell you, Finn, this is a revolutionary matchup, or even the battle of the independence is right, because they are 2 hard-fighting teams. As the 1-2 is rounded the second, fielded by Walsh, and he'll get there in time for the 4-3 putout. And that will end the inning. So a good pitching change by GW gets the out from Willie. And UMass will go down after getting 1 run. And we will be right back. 1 run, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 man left on base by Braden Sullivan's 2-out double here on WMUA Sports Stream. We'll be right back. And we're back here in the top of the 7th inning. Bobby McDonough taking his 2nd inning of work as he'll face off against Colben Walker, who has been one of the main benefactors for GW's runs this inning after hitting the 2-run home run in the top of the 4th inning. McDonough had a pretty decent inning after only giving up 1 home run, only 1 run, 1 hit. That's pretty good for UMass bulk relief, Finn.
It was, and solo home runs, you never like them, but if you're going to give up runs, then that's the best way to do it, and you just avoid more damage as you continue.
Coach Matt Reynolds walking out now to Carter Hansen in right field. Hansen looks a little bit aggravated. Maybe something is off in his throwing arm. The trainer is out with them as well. Don't know exactly what happened.
It might have been that they were just throwing practice throws and something popped. We didn't actually see it. We were looking at McDonough at the plate. It looks like they're going to go back, though. Maybe just perhaps Reynolds and the trainer were just doing their due diligence. Hansen looks like he wants to stay in.
Yeah, obviously, in some situations, players who cannot hit, or in terms of like literally physically cannot hit, I'm thinking of a Tristan Costas example, but can field 1 inning. So what they're probably going to do, if he is actually hurt, is keep him in for the fielding part and then take him out, pinching him in his next time.
It's true, that is a possibility.
Colben Walker comes up to the plate now. Home run again, I've said. He's a 2-run home run, but he's also flown out and popped out in his other 2 plate appearances. He'll get a good shot now against Bobby McDonough in his 2nd inning of work. The first pitch from McDonough is swung on and fouled back out of play over the dugout for UMass.
Well, it's a sweet sound off the bat, but did not go quite where he was looking to put it. It's a very interesting leg kick that you see out of Bobby McDonough. He brings it up maybe about halfway, and then he hesitates just slightly and then strides back down.
The 0-1 is swung on and hit to second base. Great stop by Willie. That was a hard hit line drive, and steps on first for the out. 3 unassisted if you're scoring at home.
That was a very, very good effort out of Mark Willie. He just had that last-minute pick. It was a line drive at one hopper that he just managed to kneel down and let it go right into the glove, and a good step on there.
Cristino Tufano coming up now. He's 0 for 2 with a walk and a flyout. And the first pitch is in the dirt. Thank God no one was in base, because that would have been another pass ball. Count 1-0.
Well, the control issues pop up again for Bobby McDonough. We'll be interested to see what UMass pitching staff will try to do with the mechanics there. It's interesting. He does like to start from a closed position, which is a fascinating position for a pitcher to begin from.
1-0 is called a strike just low, I believe, of the knees of Tufano. Count 2-0.
The pitcher's stance from McDonough is somewhat reminiscent, actually, of Greg Weissert.
That's true. The 2-0 is in and up. Count 3-0. Does seem a little bit like Weissert, but he like goes closed, but then comes back to more forward-facing position. He's not like trying to lean back or anything. He's just staying straight. The 3-0 called a strike fastball down the middle. 3-1. Hitters count 4 Tufano.
I believe the idea must be to keep the ball hidden, make sure that batters have a much harder time picking it up from his hand.
The pitch working fast is McDonough, but inside pitch, it will be a walk to Colbin Walker and a runner on with one out for McDonough.
Of course, the trouble with having intricate motions such as that is that sometimes it does make it a little bit harder to keep everything in line and deliver with proper momentum to the plate. That can lead to a couple of misses there.
Charlie Walsh coming up now. 0 for on the day with a walk. And the first pitch is swung on and hit off the pitcher and gets through Sullivan. And the runner will advance the third, that being Tufano. I'm going to have to break this down a second time because that did not make sense. It was a ground ball that hit McDonough in the shoulder, bounced towards Braden Sullivan, ran right through the knees, right between his legs, and into the outfield. When with a gift to Tufano, because when he saw that, he rushed past second to third. Men on the corners now for GW.
Indeed it was. It was a little bit of an odd play. We don't see that very often, Alex, and that's one of the great things about baseball is that you see something you've never seen before any given game.
And now Bobby McDonough up now to plate. And Bobby McDonough, sorry, he's pitching. And the first pitch to Ella Schwartz is a ball on the outside corner.
We just had a very helpful fan tell us. Braden Sullivan's actually out of the game at this time. And Jack Peters is at second base. We apologize for any mistakes that have been made in this broadcast.
And the pitch is hit down the first baseline past Willie. Scoring is Tufano. And another run on the board for the Revolutionaries. It's 7-4 GW on a light ground ball. Yeah, yes, has not updated on the UMass stats broadcast.
So it was a last-minute substitution on the part of Coach Reynolds. We'll see what the reason was for that. We if we ever do find out. Positioning here now for Bobby McDonough.
Ellis Schwartz 4 on the day. The first pitch is swung on and fouled to the dugout of GW. Count 0-1.
Well, this has been the tale of really just cursed gloves. After a great start by Mark Willie, it's just a lot of unfortunate bounces. That last hit was right off of Willie's glove. He couldn't quite position it. It was a hard line drive, so very understandable.
0-1. Runner goes. Hit down the first baseline. It will be foul. It was a line drive that just didn't get inbounds. Runners went. Schwartz went from first. Not in time, so they'll repeat at 0-2 now.
And of course, the hit before that was, I don't even know if I'd call it a hit or an error or just mad, untempered chance.
As a famous quote from a movie that you love, Finn, this is madness.
Bridge on the River Kwai.
Oh, man. And the 0-2 now for McDonough is hit down to second base to Sullivan. Does not go for two, goes to first instead. 2 outs. Scoring is Walsh from third. It's 8-4 GW. An interesting play not to go for the double there.
A little bit of a productive out there. It seemed as though Peters didn't really think that he could get that out.
Thank you, Finn. I can tell you the
No problem, no problem. We got very used to Sullivan being out there, and he is not.
Peters did not go for the double play. Simply just went to the easiest base, being first. But now a run will score. 8-4. Up to the plate now is Charlie Rogan. And the pitch from McDonough is swung on and fouled out of play just behind the GW grandstands here at Earl Lorden.
Into those beautiful emerald green grass that we have behind us near the recreation turf that we've got way behind us.
Greg Marmo up right now. The pitch inside almost hit Marmo itself, but does not count 1-1.
He just managed to get his hands out of the way. They were a little bit close in there, crowding the plate just a tad.
Bobby checks second. The pitch in the dirt, well blocked by Colbin. Runner did not advance from second. Count 2-1. McDonough trying to work out of some trouble here. He's given up 2 runs already in the inning. 8-4 GW leads, and in these later innings, less runs the better, honestly, when the bats aren't working for UMass. As the 2-1 is call a strike on the inside corner. 2-2. Deuces wild, Finn.
It was once again, it was a pitch inside that Marmo thought were going to be in on his hands, but maybe just a little bit of a cut out over the plate. Able to secure that second strike was McDonough.
As I said, deuces wild. McDonough, the 2-2. Just low and called a ball. 3-2 full count here for Marmo.
Well, McDonough really, really wanted it, but it looked as though the breaking ball did just slip a little bit out of the zone there.
Marmo is 0 for 2 on the day with a hit by pitch in his last at bat. And the pitch is swung on and fouled into the dugout of UMass. Count will stay 3-2 with 2 outs.
That was just a survivor swing, Alex. He barely stayed alive, and got to be a little bit frustrating if it's Bobby McDonough, because that was a perfectly made pitch, perfectly
executed,
located, and the batter really barely made contact. I mean, about an inch's difference, and that's a swing and a miss.
That's right. McDonough trying to get out of this inning. The 3-2 with 2 outs. The pitch, runners go. It's swung on, hit in the air to left field. It will be a base hit. Reaching it is Hill, but running the score is Schwartz. And reaching second is Marmo. It's a 2-out RBI double for Greg Marmo, and GW leads 9-4.
Well, UMass have been doing a very good job of keeping this game well within reach, but it does seem as though this is starting to get a little bit out of hand here. Does seem as though Revolutionaries have doubled up the score with 3 runs already here. They aren't yet done, and UMass starting to give way just a little bit. Sort of the story of the first game as well.
Robbie Levy's up to bat as the first pitcher. McDonough is outside 1-0. McDonough now up to 46 pitches through 2 innings so far, 1 2/3. And now with 1-0 to McDonough, from McDonough, is swung on and hit up the middle for a base hit. Rounding first is Levy. Scoring from second is Marmo. It's another RBI sing for GW. It's 10-4 GW, a colossal inning for them right here.
Well, GW now has outscored themselves in their first game. They only scored 9 earlier today, and I was just checking up. It does seem as though McDonough's outing might be coming to an end soon. We do see a lefty, a southpaw, if you will, warming up out there in the bullpen. And it does seem as though there's going to be a little bit of a conference on the mound here. That is a strategy that is often used both to get some composure from the pitcher and to give the guy warming up some extra time to get a few more warm-up pitches in there, ensure that he's as ready as can be.
That's right. McDonough had a great first inning by all bulk relief standards, only gave up 1 run, but in his second inning of work, giving up 4 runs, all earned. It's something that UMass has really struggled with this season, that being having bulk relief work out for them, or just relief pitchers in general have solid starts. it's a struggle for them. And Bobby McDonough making no exception to that rule as GW has taken a very solid lead here, 10-4.
Well, this is one of the troubles, Alex, is UMass did have a very solid game plan today, going forward with the ace, Kalen Powers, to just lead them in as best as they possibly could. It does look as though Reynolds is going to come here and a pitching change might end up being made. Without the bulk out of Powers, it's tough to really string together those good outings that you absolutely need in order to finish the game with the lead. And it was an admirable effort for a good chunk of the game to stay in it, but it would take a very mighty effort to come back into this game here as the wind picks up, and it seems as though we're getting into that classic wind tunnel situation that we have here near the Mullins Center and W.E.B. Du Bois Library.
That's right. So there will be a pitching change. You were right, Finn. There was a bit of a delay. So that will do it for Bobby McDonough. He went I believe 1 2/3 innings, giving up 5 runs, all earned. And we'll be right back. There are pitching changes been made, and we'll see you in just a little bit. Thank you for joining us on the WMUA YouTube stream.
Welcome back to the top of the 7th inning. George Washington Revolutionaries burying the UMass Minutemen 10-4 at this point. Bobby McDonough has just been taken out of the game with 2 outs in the top of the 7th. He's been replaced by Drew Slukowski, the lefty. So the southpaw will pitch to the lefty, Sam Gates, by the looks of things. Now to break down his approach, he comes in with a 7.11 ERA, a whip of 2.29. He allows quite a high number of base runners. He has more walks issued than innings pitched, 12.2 innings pitched with 14 walks. He does get a good amount of swing and miss. He can keep batters on their toes in that fashion. He will get plenty of Ks. Not too many home runs out of him. In fact, no home runs out of him, so he keeps the ball on the ground. As with most of UMass's pitching staff, it's all about keeping the ball in the zone for the southpaw, and if he's able to do that, then UMass might have a pretty good outing on their hands. So let's see.
Sam Gates steps to the plate. He's 0 for 2 on the day, and Slukowski, the left-handed, left-handed pitcher, throws a slider, beautiful pitch, called strike over the plate. Count 0-1 with 2 outs here in the top of the 7th inning. 4 runs given up by Bobby McDonough. Runner on first is courtesy of him, so if that runner scores, it will be related to McDonough, as the second pitch is called a ball on the outside edge, so 1-1 being the count.
Location didn't look too different there. The sweeping slider, of course, can be all over the place.
1-1 hits Sam Gates, and he got hit on the lower back, about where the sciatica kicks in. And now runners will move. Levy to second, Gates to first, and yet another pitching error by the Minutemen.
I will tell you, Alex, that is not where you want to get hit. Speaking as someone who's got a couple of lower back issues, got to go back to the dorm after this and address it with a heating pad, actually. That is not how you want it to go down. Great sympathies for Sam Gates there. But Slukowski only needs the 1 out, and he's got another lefty up, so can hopefully manage to get it here.
Ty Akers stepping up as the first pitch from Slukowski is inside, ball 1. You're right, Finn. It's a tough situation to have, obviously being hit by that, but it helps the team, and more runners are on for GW, as the 1-0 is inside 2-0. Ty Acker has gone 3 for 4 on the day with 2 singles and a double. And definitely GW's top hitter as of today. As the 2-0 from Slukowski from the stretch. The pitch is inside, ball 3-3-0. 4 straight balls from Slukowski here. And the count is 3-0 with 2 outs.
Well, Slukowski, an interesting windup. He brings his knee right up to his hip thereabouts and then delivers from the 3/4, kind of fires across his body.
Steps off the mound to reassure himself a little bit. Trying to throw a strike here. 2 outs, just needs 1 away to end this inning without any more damage. As the 3-0 from Slukowski, he checks the runner on second. Now looks to home. The pitch, called a strike, right down the middle fastball, lower edge of the zone. 3-1, hitters count. Acker is struck out his last at bat, but again, hitting very well today. All of GW's hitting has been very good. 12 hits on the day, only 9 left on base. Now the 3-1 from Slukowski. Called a strike, a beautiful slider there. Looked like he was going to hit Acker, but slid right onto the edge of the zone to count 3-2.
Well, when Slukowski is right, that pitch is just beautiful. Hitters reach life decision. Just watching. And when he's able to locate, it is the reason why.
3-2 with 2 outs. The pitch, inside, ball 4. Bases loaded now as Acker draws the walk for Colbin Walker, who has hit a home run this game, his first of the season. Who's to say he won't do it again?
Well, if he can, then Drew Slukowski will be the guy to say that. It is another lefty, so the favorable lefty matchup does continue for Slukowski, so he might have the advantage on the basis of splits alone. We'll have to see.
The first pitch from Slukowski is in the dirt. Blocked well by Colbin. Runner from third, that being Levy, does not pick up on it. Base runners will stay where they are. 1-0. 2 outs in this inning. The score, if you're just joining us, the score is 10-4. GW leads UMass on 10 runs, 12 hits, and 1 error, 9 left on base. They've been getting on base every inning and hitting UMass pitchers well, trying to extend that lead here. The 1-0. Called a strike on the inside corner. 1-1 with 2 outs.
Walker immediately turned around and just started nodding his head. A perfectly delivered strike. That was one of those pitcher's pitches that all you can do is tip your hat on, because even if you swung, you weren't going to hit it.
And now 1-1. Just high on the outside part of the plate. Count 2-1 now. UMass trying to get out of innings when they're fielding, because every inning is elongated by these GW hitters. The 2-1 in the dirt, blocked well again by Cole. Staying put is Levy at third. And just as I was saying, it's tough. It's tough for UMass when they're having to rely so heavily on their starters. But even then, their starters were getting lit up. Kalen Powers did not have his best out.
Well, George Washington is one of those teams that seems to have half of their hitters hitting 300.
The 3-1. Ball 4 called, and it will be an RBI via base on balls. And GW takes more insurance now. They must have upgraded their lease or their package, because it's 11-4. GW leads.
Well, this has been really, after a pretty solid start in the first couple of innings, it's just turned into a bit of a nightmare game for the UMass pitching staff. Not what they were looking for. The falling behind in counts has really gotten them into
the first
rough shape.
Pitch to Tufano is blocked again in the dirt from Slukowski. 1-0. Then we've been to Hartford, Connecticut for a game. Now used to be called the insurance capital of the world. It's certainly feeling like Hartford, Connecticut here, and about as much insurance as they can.
A point, especially in the 7th inning.
The 1-0 from Slukowski is hit hard to shortstop, blocked well by Tersano, throws the third to the force and gets it.
What a play from the UMass shortstop as they end the inning without any more damage. UMass keeping it to just 5, the score being 11-4. GW leads on 5 runs, 3 hits, 1 error, and nobody left on base, Finn.
It was a terrific play by Matt Travisano. I mean, he smothered it very well, got the ball out to third base just in time. Tremendous, him reacting very well to it. So that was what we were looking for, and we're in the 7th inning stretch now.
7th inning stretch. We're going to keep it here for the national anthem. We might need to sing along because it seems it's just a play, but we'll let you guys listen in while we take our break. Thank you so much for listening. Cade Davis in his 2nd inning of work here for GW as tries to contain UMass batters here after well-earned insurance in the 6th, scoring 6 in the top of the 7th. We're in the bottom now. Ryan Colbin, the catcher, steps up for his 3rd at-bat as the first pitch is swung on and fouled over the grandstand, out of play.
Ooh, it sounded like that actually made a pretty solid impact on some of the metal back there. Hopefully there was no equipment damaged. There's a lot of delicate power cords back there.
The 0-1 is inside, away, 1-1. Cade pitched only a 1/3 of an inning last, came in for the starter, Drew. The pitch is swung on and foul and swung on into the infield. Coming around is Tufano. He makes the catch. There's 1 away. As I was saying, I forgot. Go ahead, Finn.
Well, the motion from Davis is a very interesting one. He's a bit of an old-fashioned kind of pitcher. He brings the ball way up over his head. He has the full motion there, then brings the leg all the way up. So he's a bit of a retro pitcher.
The first pitch to McCarthy is swung on and missed, 0-1. As I was saying, Cutler came in for Cutler in the bottom of the 6th, got out of the inning cleanly. As the 0-1 is in the dirt, blocked by Levy, count 1-1.
It is very interesting, this motion. It's one of those pitching motions that can be very easily disrupted with runners on base. The hands over the head is not something you can really do with runners on.
1-1, a ball called on the outside part, so 2-1 now with 1 out. UMass trying to work back into this game, down 7, being outscored completely by GW. The pitch from Davis is inside low, 3-1. Finally a hitter's count for a UMass hitter.
Well, UMass hitters have not been ahead in these sorts of counts very often. You can kind of see that.
Working fast is Davis. He does not locate, and that will be a walk for Reese McCarthy, getting on base well. And now UMass finally has a base runner for the 9-hitter, Sam Hill.
Well, that was way up and in, nearly hit him on the noggin. And as I was saying, UMass has not gotten into those kinds of counts very often. can kind of see that in the evidence of the hit column. 12 hits for the Revolutionaries, 4 for UMass.
And the pitch is fouled back into the backstop by Hill. 0-1 now.
Wouldn't blame any of the fans for jumping on that one. That looked like it was going to be directly nailing into somebody if it weren't for the good old fence to save the day.
UMass trying to get back in this game now. Runner on first is McCarthy. 1 out. The 0-1 is low and inside. Count 1-1 now. 1 out. UMass, Finn, when you're down by a fair margin and you're trying to work back in this game inning by inning, what do you have to do as Davis, the lefty, throws this one in? It's grounded to second, thrown to short for 1, down the 2. It's a double play. I was going to ask you what you're going to think, Finn, but the inning is over. A nice 4-6-3 double play, and GW gets it over just like that. I'll still take your answer, though.
What I would have said, Alex, is I guess the opposite of that, I suppose. It was an easy ground ball down to second base, and the play really lent itself to a 4-6-3. So what I would have said is patience and keeping in the at-bat and not trying to become the hero or anything like that. The best thing that you can do for a big comeback is just string hits together, keep runners on base, just avoid getting out, because then that can perpetuate an inning for long enough to come back into it.
Well, we'll be back after this. UMass gets no runs on no hits, no errors, 1 man left on base on the double play. We'll go to the top of the 8th here on WMUA Sports YouTube. Thank you. We're back here at top of the 8th now as Drew Sukowski in his second inning of work, as Charlie Walsh will come up, the 9-hitter for GW, trying to get additional insurance on the board. Obviously up by 7 now, but anything helps if you know what I'm saying. As the pitch from Sukowski, the first pitch, is swung on and hit down to second base. Peters grabs it and throws to Willie for first, and that will be a 4-3 putout, 1 down.
Well, that was really the perfect at-bat. If you're Drew Slukowski, threw maybe a few too many pitches by his hopes last time out, got a few too many men on base via hit by pitches and walks, walked a man in. So having a 1-pitch, 1-out start and getting ahead with that first out of the inning is good stuff from his perspective.
Now up to bat is Charlie Walsh, or now is Ellis Schwartz, sorry for that, the leadoff man for GW. And he will take a ball for a strike. Sukowski now the 0-1, called up high, 1-0, 1-1 now with 1 out.
Slukowski also actually brings his hands above his head in advance of the pitch, and then he pauses for about a second and then continues his delivery. A fascinating motion, to say the least.
Got through a third of an inning, trying to get through more here, as the ball is a grounder right through the legs of Ryan Colbin, the catcher, and the count will be 2-1.
Just had to give him that extra infield practice.
You know, Finn, we were playing a softball game not too long ago on Thursday. Lots of ground field practice, and we were playing on turf, so even harder to hit here. At the 2-1 now from Slukowski is high, 3-1.
Well, Slukowski loves that slider. It is difficult to hit, as evidenced by all the strikeouts that he's been able to secure. But the trouble is that it's also difficult to locate. He's been peppering hitters with it so far, but the trouble is that it's tough to nail a zone.
The 3-1 now, called a strike on the outside edge, 3-2 now, full count.
Did look like it might have been a slider that actually managed to clip the bottom of the zone that time. We'll see if he changes it up here. Maybe he throws a Swifty.
Hey, if he throws a Swifty, 1,000 fans somewhere in UMass will yell. And the pitch is down and away. No, in the dirt, away from Colbin, but does not matter because it'll be the 4th ball, sending Walsh to first, with 1 out.
Well, that was, of course, not what Slukowski was looking for. He managed to come all the way back in that at-bat after starting in an unfortunate fashion, but unfortunately couldn't quite finish the at-bat. And this is one of the troubles with starting behind in counts, is that you can afford so few in the way of mistakes. You can't really afford to miss at all.
Charles Rogan up now. That was UMass's 7 base on balls, something they struggle with in their hitting as Slukowski checks on first. 7 walks, 1 wild pitch, 2 hit by pitches. Something that we've mentioned in the games we've seen is it's just the control is the issue.
This is one of the troubles that UMass has dealt with a lot so far.
The pitch from Slukowski is called a strike, 0-1.
Really is interesting, that motion. It's identical to his regular motion, except he doesn't have the hands behind his back and then stopping for 1 second. It's kind of interesting that he does that in the first place. Pitchers are idiosyncratic individuals.
Finn, a pitcher lover. The 0-1 is swung on and hit down very sharply the second. Hit by, tagged out is Schwartz at second by Travasano, tags him, but does not try to go for first for the double play, and there will be 2 away.
Awkward play there. Took a long time to develop. It bounced right over the mound, so no play by Slukowski. And then Travasano ranged over, way over from shortstop and managed to get the tag, but it took so long to develop that by the time everything happened, the runner had already advanced all the way down to first.
Stepping up now to the plate, Greg Marmo, who's 1 for 3 on the day. Most recently got a RBI double in the 7th. The ball is low and on the ground, blocked well by Colbin. Not running is Rogan from first.
And that was one of those plays that UMass has been looking for in a lot of their outings so far, Alex. One of those potential pass balls, possible wild pitches that ends up blocked. That's a runner that is at first who could have been in scoring position if that play goes awry. That's what UMass has been looking for and that they've been struggling to get at points in this season so far.
The 1-0 from Slukowski almost hits Marmo. That would have been yet another another hit by pitch. But it's true. UMass shows glimpses of their potential in some of their blocking skills and their fielding, their hitting. It just hasn't come through fully in that amount as the pitch is inside 3-0 on Marmo.
Well, this is another one of the issues is it's a mixture of this and falling 3-0 again.
The 3-0 is outside, ball 4, and a second straight walk for Slukowski. And a duck on the pond now for GW, hoping to get even more insurance on their 11-4 lead. That was their 8th walk, Finn.
Well, I'm not very good at math, Alex, so I don't really have the numbers here that I can crunch. But I think that the percentage of pitches that Slukowski has thrown that have actually crossed over the plate has been a great deal lower than he had intended coming into this game.
With 2 outs now is Robert Levy, the catcher for GW, takes a ball out inside for a ball 1 and pick the ball inside for 1-0.
You know, this is one of the troubles of pitching out of the stretch is that a lot of pitchers find that their control is a lot less effective when they have to pitch out of that stretch that's less of their tradition.
1-0 is inside for a strike, called strike 1-1 now.
And as a result, it can be a little bit harder to find that zone. So when runners get on early against you, then most of the pitches that you're throwing are from an uncomfortable throwing motion.
The 1-1 from Slukowski checks the runner at second. The pitch just outside. Could have been borderline strike, but what do we know? 2-1 here now with 2 outs.
Didn't look like it missed by a great deal there, Alex.
No, it didn't. Definitely felt like it was just off the edge, but umpire's decision now. The 2-1 is swung through and missed. Well located by Slukowski. 2-2 now. Deuces wild here in the top of the 8th. 11-4, GW leads on 12 hits. Trying to get more here. And the pitch from Slukowski, the 2-2, is swung on and fouled back. Count will repeat 2-2.
Slukowski almost certainly going to be frustrated with that one because it looked as though he barely was able to make any contact at all on another situation where it felt like you just about had him and didn't get rewarded for it.
It was so close. Every pitch seems like life or death for UMass, but trying to just get out of this inning. Deuces wild again. Levy at the plate. The pitch just inside, and it's another full count for GW. 3-2 now, 2 outs.
Well, the trouble with finishing at bats continues by the looks of things.
If I know this sound, Finn, at Yankee Stadium, that means that there's 2 strikes and 2 outs. And I love that they played this here in New England, so
I'm
thank God.
appalled.
So the 3-2 now from Slukowski. The pitch inside and another walk. 3 straight walks from Slukowski. And the bases are loaded for Sam Gates. That's the 9th walk this game finished.
Well, Slukowski has really struggled a little bit with the command coming in here. Bases loaded again. He has walked in a run in this game. It hasn't been the game that he's been looking for, Alex. And of course, he's got great stuff.
First pitch to Gates is outside once more. 1-0.
Slukowski has thrown 36 pitches. They're not saying how many of them were balls, but if I had to guess, I'd say over 60%.
1-0 now. So Gates is outside again on the outside, 2-0.
Looked like a pretty quick fastball on that one. Easy cheese from Slukowski. Just couldn't quite find the zone with it.
Trying to contain GW is Slukowski, and the ball is high, 3-0 now. Would this be the 4th straight rock to rock in a run? I'm saying W words so much now, it's messing with me. The 3-0. Strike, well placed by Slukowski, 3-1 now. Hitters count still.
Well, Slukowski does have excellent stuff, so if he can just get the pitch over the plate now.
The 3-1 is hit in the air to center field, not deep. Under it is Torado. He ranges and makes the catch. And after 3 straight walks, UMass escapes. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 3 men left on base. We'll be back in the bottom of the 8th here on the WMUA YouTube stream. Welcome back to Earl Lorden Field here in the bottom of the 8th inning as UMass up to bat against Cade Davis in his 3rd inning of work. Back to the top of the lineup are the Minutemen. Anthony Torado leads off, the left-handed hitter. He's 1 for 3 on the day with a single in the 4th, hoping to get any sort of run here for UMass as Davis, the left-hander, pitches the first pitch high, 1-0.
Well, contrary to how the dictates of history actually proceeded, George Washington is crushing Massachusetts, which is not really how the Revolutionary War played out. Let all the people at home
Pitch
know.
outside, 2-0. That's right, Finn. It was supposed to be a battle for independence here in Massachusetts, but seems like the British won eventually. Count 2-1 now after a foul ball from Torado hits the back.
Well, it's the game that George Washington was looking for, and it's been a very similar story both games today as of yet.
2-1 pitch now from Davis. Outside, 3-1. Hey, at least Boston and Massachusetts didn't get taken by the British forces in Canada in the War of 1812.
Massachusetts does have that on Washington, D.C.
Pitch is ball 4, walk for Tirado. He'll get on first as Matt Travisano up to plate now.
Only a few of those for UMass today, but when the offense, as I've said before, when the offense is in its appropriate condition, they are able to do that with great efficacy.
Travisano today, 1 for 2, 2 shots and a single. And the pitch from Davis is swung on and hit up the between short and third. It's a base hit on the ground. Advancing the second is Tirado, and UMass has 2 men on with no outs. A great start.
Vin Scully would say that ball had eyes. It wasn't hit particularly hard. It was just a bouncing ground ball, but it knew exactly where to go to reward Matt Travisano with a hit, and that's what he is able to do. Keeps the bat in control, has a nice measured swing, and he's able to keep it contained and deliver effectively there.
Carter Hansen, who had the issue in left field with some sort of in right field with some sort of injury, but now comes to the plate, must have not been too serious. As 2 men on, has a great chance, has already hit an RBI double today, 2 RBIs, that's in the 4th, and hoping just to get some sort of momentum here for UMass.
Always wonderful to see a guy who's able to play through it, and it's good to see that Hansen's okay.
The first pitch is swung on and fouled back into the screen, count 0-1.
Well, I'll tell you this, Alex, he didn't seem to lose any bat speed. That one came around quickly, and I think that Cade Davis is just happy that the bat didn't quite groove into the path of the ball, because that would have been hit a long way.
Davis having the work here. The pitch is in the dirt, 1-1. Davis now pitched 1 in the 3rd inning, allowing only 1 hit, that being that Travisano grounder between short third. 2 walks, pretty solid outing. GW pitch has been pitching well, but in a bit of a spot here. The 1-1, inside, 2-1 now.
Well, traditionally, Hansen does not get pitched inside too often. Only 3 hit-by pitches on the year for him so far, but George Washington Revolutionary pitchers have had a very different approach so far. Everyone has actually crowded him off the plate today.
The 2-1 is a beautiful slider from Davis, hits the inside corner. It's 2-2 now with no outs and 2 men on.
A good bit of pitch tunneling there after delivering a fastball inside. Then the slider looked like it was going to follow the same path and then swung right back in over the plate to catch him looking.
The 2-2 is swung on and missed. Strike 3. Hansen down on strikes, and 1 is away for UMass.
Well, not exactly what Hansen was looking for to finish out that at-bat. He did take a couple pitches, did fight through it a little bit, but fortunately for him was not able to get the outcome that he was desirous for, and it looks like it's going to be the cleanup hitter Beverly to try to pick up these.
Beverly up now, the right-hand power hitter for UMass, and the first pitch from Davis is swung on and fouled into foul territory. Under it, looks like a chase. Cannot tell if they made a catch. They did not, as the bench for GW does not make a sound. And now you'll redo it. It's 0-1.
Could have been the first baseman, could have been the right fielder for Revolutionaries, but that one was not caught either way. They both had to run a long way. They're only just getting back to their positions now. They were walking out there for a while.
That's right. Now 0-1 the count. Beverly trying to get something happen. UMass hitters are 5 for 26 on the day, and the pitch is in the dirt, blocked well again by Levy. 1-1.
That was a tremendous block from Levy. If that was maybe just a bit further in, then it might have actually gotten a little bit past him, and in which circumstance the UMass runners would certainly have advanced.
Well, 1-1 now from Davis. High, 2-1. GW has actually batted 12 for 36, 333 average, but the big thing is the walks. 10 walks to UMass's 3, and just have maintained on base. 15 left on base for the game so far for them. UMass only at 2. Here's a pitch from Davis. Swung on and missed. 2-2.
Well, Davis has actually kept the walks relatively under control, so the control issues that he's demonstrated in this inning so far have not really been the norm for him, so you him at a convenient moment by their standards.
The 2-2 is low. Now it's a full count, well worked by Beverly. Finn working on his pitching motion here. Behind, we are, if we didn't know, we are located, our stand is located right behind home plate here at Earl Lauren Field. It's a beautiful view, right in the action here between the grandstands, as Kay Davis throws the 3-2 to Beverly, inside, ball 4, and bases are now loaded for Braden Sullivan, who's had the hot bat of late, Finn.
Unfortunately for UMass,
Oh no, that's right, it's not.
It's Jack Peters.
It's true. It's still not updated. Oh, I'm sorry. Jack Peters now takes to
Our system here usually automatically updates, and that's usually what we're able to use to get by, but the update has not quite come through as of yet.
Jack Peters on the year, 216 hitter, has played in 18 games with a 270 slugging and a 310 OBP. So not a very strong, powerful hitter, but can work in strange ways as he takes the first pitch for a ball inside.
Well, again, we're not really sure why Braden Sullivan wasn't able to continue through this game. We believe that he started it, as he was announced in the opening starters lineup. It looks like we might have a little bit of a conference here, as Davis's control issues are ongoing.
Looks like it might be another one of these situations, Finn, where they're just waiting for that the reliever to be ready, and they're going to give him a day in a second. But looks like Kate Davis has only thrown 33 pitches, but obviously going to try to save it as they want to work him in that Sunday game. No game tomorrow. This is the second game of a doubleheader. UMass lost the first 9-5. This is the second, and the third will be played on Sunday at 12 p.m. here at Earl Lauren Field. Finn and I will be on the call.
As will I, Alex. We'll be back for you. We're hoping to be able to deliver a good call for you back home.
Now Peters, the 1-0, is in the dirt, 2-0. Not located too well by Davis, but well blocked by Levy.
He jogs in there, makes sure that he can get that ball back. Of course, they really are hard to come by, these baseballs. And
now it looks like the pitch that was blocked by Levy might have hit him in the neck. Oh, that's not good to see.
It stung him a little bit there.
Oh, that's ugly.
Oh, he's showing it to Richie, and we can see it even from here. There's a bit of a crimson on that front of the neck, that Adam's apple area, which is really awful.
Have an Adam's apple, Finn. Gender difference.
Whoa. All right.
Adam, maybe it's only some, but at least for that will hurt either way. It looks like they're going to splash some water on it. Great catch by Richie. He asked for a water ball thrown to him. One-handed grab shows his athletic ability.
Clearly, he played.
And now it looks like he's got the water on him. He's going to get right back into it.
Catchers are durable folk, Alex.
The most durable. I remember when I played in middle school, I just hated playing catcher because every foul tip, every misplay hurts you so much, and it's unlike any other position. But the people who play it are brave souls. As Peters, the 2-0, is swung on, hit in the air to right field. Sitting under it is Gates. He'll take it. Reaching now, they did a sac fly. Tirado tags up and gets the run in for UMass. So UMass gets actually a run after 2 innings of no runs. After an inning of no runs, so it will be 11 now. UMass trails GW.
Well, not a bad effort by the offense today. I think that if you're the UMass bats, then you have to be okay with the effort that's been put up. It's just that unfortunately a couple of innings got away today, and that has gotten them into the enormous deficit.
Now Mark Willie steps to the plate. He's 0 for 3 on the day.
He was the first to face Davis.
And the pitch is low, 1-0. Yeah, Willie. Now they got one. UMass has gotten 1 run, but the runner from second, that being Travisano, did not tag up as Tirado did. So only one in scoring position so far, as the 1-0 pitch is swung through and missed by Willie. Count 1-1.
Well, Willie was the first to face Davis. He rolled over to the right side. So Davis has had the advantage in the past, but he's also already seen him, so he might have some familiarity with his stuff.
1-1 in the dirt. Again, blocked well by this catcher, Robbie Levy. Still showing signs of just incredulously good defending at any cost to his body. And now the 2-1 from Davis. Swung through and missed. Count 2-2. Deuces Wild with 2 outs here.
Well, in spite of the batter's eye out there, it seems as though Willie's had a little bit of trouble picking up the ball today. Not quite on his usual hitting tear.
With 2 outs, UMass is 1 for 8. Let's see if they can change it. The 2-2 is swung on, hit right at the second baseman, Charlie Walsh. A great piece of fielding from him, and that will end the inning. So UMass gets 3 men on base, 1 run on 1 hit, that being the sac fly, and still a 6-run deficit for the Minutemen to climb in the bottom of the 9th. We'll be right back in a little bit in the top of the 9th. Thank you for everyone who's joined us so far on the WMUA YouTube. We'll be right back. And we're back. Top of the 9th inning. UMass trails GW 5-11. New pitcher for UMass. His first outing ever as a collegiate athlete. It's Vance Bonnier. Finn, what do you got in this man?
Well, Vance Bonnier actually is a bit of a versatile player. This is a common thing that you see across college baseball is catchers who can also pitch. That's sort of where the best arms always seem to go. So he does have a little bit of experience in the batter's box and behind home plate. He actually has been batting .500 on the year. He's gotten into 3 games. He's only had the 2 at-bats so far. But he does have a pretty good arm. That's gotten him through his high school career and now into his pitching career. Now it's going to start just here. We actually have never seen him pitch.
Yeah.
Nobody has. So we're not totally sure what his outlook is, what kind of stuff he's got to show.
From Bethesda, Maryland, the freshman, 6 feet tall. He'll face off against Ty Acker, who is 3 for 4 on the day, last getting a walk in the 7th. And the first pitch of his collegiate career is a swinging strike. That's a great sign, Finn. Count 0-1.
Well, that was an excellent electric fastball. That was just, it was out of the hand and into the glove, and I mean, about as short of a possible iota of time as you can get.
The pitch from Bonnier is fouled back out of play and already in an 0-2 count. You know, Finn, UMass looking for just some sort of relief pitcher who can fill a role while Andrew Middleton, their star reliever, is out. This might be the guy. Look into your toolbox. The pitch 0-2, just low, 1-2.
The stuff does look very, very sharp, especially for someone, a freshman who has not really been pitching very much at all. And he's an athlete, Alex. He placed second in the high jump at the Montgomery County Championships back in the day.
The 2-2 is swung on and missed, strike 3, but the ball gets behind him. It's a swinging strike 3, but in the ground and will not be in time. Runner reaches on the swinging strike, and one man is on again for GW.
A rarity, Alex. A strikeout, but one that does not get the actual out. That does not, you don't see that every day, Alex.
Was not blocked by the catcher for UMass, Colbin. He's blocked a lot of them today, but just could not feel the fire on that block. So now one man on for GW, no outs, and up is Colbin Walker as the first pitch from Bonnier is inside 1-0.
Well, Alex, this might bode well for Vance Bonnier's fate, if fate is real. You know what high school he went to?
What high school?
Walter Johnson.
Walter Johnson. Ball inside, 2-0.
Now there's somebody who could pitch.
Hey, Walter Johnson, very famous arm. And it looks like he does too. I mean, they're not. GW does not have a scouting report in this man. The 2-0. Inside and high, 3-0. That's the thing with these new pitchers when it's a bit of a game out of your hands. You put out, it's like, hey, let's try something new. Let's put in one of our freshman prospects. And, I mean, got the strikeout, just was not blocked. Now the 3-0. Inside, ball 4, and that will put the second man on base for GW. It's first and second and no one out here in the top of the 9th.
Well, it's not been an advantageous start. I mean, he did get that first strikeout right away. Unfortunately, it was also a bit of a pass ball on the part of Colbin. So already 2 ducks on the pond with nobody out for Bonyor.
Yeah, 10 walks on the day for UMass. 1 wild pitch, 1 wild. The first pitch, by the way, from Bonyor is a ball. I just want to see. Yeah, main thing is the 10 walks, but also a wild pitch, and that was a pass ball there. I don't have stats on that, unfortunately, but it's just the problem with the blocking and the pitching, and the pitch is inside from Bonnier to Cristino Tufano, count 2-0.
Well, after that excellent first at bat, falling behind most of the hitters so far.
Now the 2-0 from Bonnier. Outside 3-0 in the 5th. I believe that's the 5th or no 6th straight ball.
Yes. Oh no, the 7th.
The 7th, yeah.
He walked the last man on 4 pitches, I think.
Bonnier trying to find the strike zone here. The 3-0. Strike, a fastball right down the middle. Tufano was not swinging at that. Count 3-1. Tufano on the day 0 for 2, but has reached on 2 separate occasions via the walk and scored. Now the 3-1 from Bonnier is swung on and hit to right field fairly deep. Under it is Hansen. He'll make the play. Tagging is Acker from second. He'll make it without a throw. And it will be 1 out here in the top of the 9th. Runners on the corners.
Well, that was a good way to get back into that at-bat after falling behind early. Gets that first collegiate out. He couldn't quite manage to get it on the strikeout, unfortunately, but gets it here with the help of his right fielder, and now all he needs is a ground ball right at somebody, and he's got a scoreless outing for his first collegiate pitching performance.
So up to get him is Charlie Walsh, who is 0 for 4 in the day. First pitch, call a strike. Count 0-1. Walsh has also 0 for 4, but has reached base 2 separate occasions. So GW has really found a way to get on base multiple times. So 0-1. Pitcher running to second is Walker. He gets there cleanly, but the ball gets by the second baseman into center. Scoring automatically is Acker, and scoring from first is Colbin Walker. So on the steal, Ryan Colbin could not hit the second baseman, and that will put 2 more runs on the board for GW. It's 13-5. It was a swinging strike which Colbin threw down the second base, but just not in time, or it was beyond the time and just went past him. Now the 1-1 to Walsh is called strike 1 and 2. Bonnier trying to get out of this inning on the pass ball, and here is the 1-2. Swung on and fouled out a play over UMass's bench.
Well, the skies are clearing up here as it reaches the later point of the day. You don't often see UMass baseball this late, Alex.
It's the changing of the times, Finn. Lighter later.
The times they are a-changing.
And the ball just outside, count 2-2.
Well, some evidence for the reason as to why we had so many bunts from George Washington early on. Put pressure on the UMass defense, and good things can happen for the Revolutionaries.
Ball is fouled back again, same spot. Count will stay 2-2. Both runs were not earned to Bonnier, both because on the pass ball and the walk, I believe they will just be registered, as I see there's been 3 errors. As the 2-2 high, and he really waited. The umpire waited on that. Pair of shoes, Finn, It's a called strike 3, and Bonnier has gotten 2 down now in the top of the 9th.
Well, already the second strikeout of his collegiate career, so the stuff does look pretty good for Vance Bonnier. I mean, it looked like a close one, but he was able to get the call there. So now, of course, he's got one of the biggest challenges that he will experience yet in the form of sports.
The first pitch is just outside, count 1-0. And you're right. I mean, I was also right because both runs are not registered to Bonnier because it was a error. And the first 1-0 is flied into center field. Tracking is Hansen in a beautiful play made at the wall. He jumped to catch the ball and fell as he hit the wall, and that will end the inning. Finn, what a catch!
That might have been the best outfield play in the game. I think it was actually Tirado going back on it, losing the hat, jumping, and nabbing it right out of the clutches of the bushes there. The ivy thought that they could have it, and the trees thought that they could imprison yet another baseball. I don't know how many are lodged in there, but Tirado denied it on that one. So, well, if UMass has any chance coming back into this game, then that play is going to help them enormously.
Three chances to make history here for UMass as they can try to take this 13-5 lead back into their hands in the bottom of the 9th. We'll be right back here on the WMUA stream. Thank you very much for everyone who's tuned in.
Welcome back. It's the bottom of the 9th inning between the UMass Minutemen and the George Washington Revolutionaries. We've been calling it the Battle for Independence. The crucible of American history was born on the backs of George Washington and on the Minutemen. And so their legacies are dueling today, and George Washington has a distinct advantage, up 13-5, trying to close it out. They just need 3 more outs, and they're going to try to get him from Ty Blankenship here. He's had 11 outings and his .75 ERA, 2.03 whip thus far. No saves on the year. This is not a save situation. Batters have hit .262 against him, and he delivers from the right side of the plate.
Ryan Colbin, the hitter for UMass, as the first pitch is a called strike, fast fastball from Blankenship, and the 0-1.
That looked like very good low came in there. He will walk batters. Has 10 on the year in just over 13 innings pitched.
The 0-1 is swung on and hit the third base. Fielding is Acker, throws to first and does not get the scoop from the first baseman, and reaching on the infield. I believe that will be called an error on Acker is Colbin. 1 on, no outs.
It's a pretty impressive play from Acker. He twirled around as he threw, and unfortunately for him, the ball was just a little bit offline as he delivered it. And now he's a runner to deal with at first base as Reese McCarthy comes up.
Yeah, Reese McCarthy on the day, 0 for 3. UMass trying to get a run together here in the bottom of the 9th. Blankenship from the pitch, high and out, so it will be 1-0 count. No outs so far in the inning. UMass trying any sort of way to get runners on base. Obviously, you're up. Your GW is up 8 runs, but any sort of run is welcomed as the 1-0 from Blankenship. Fastball strike, 1-1.
Well, this is a time to take command of at-bats, get ahead in the count, and get as many runs across as he can and see what happens. It ain't over till it's over, as Yogi Berra once said.
That's right. The 1-1, high 2-1.
And patience is often rewarded. This is why they say patience is a virtue, Alex.
That's right. Work as many counts as you can. Don't think about the scoreboard. That's all UMass needs to do right now. As the 2-1 pitch now from Blankenship. Just outside 3-1. And a great hitter's count now for McCarthy. McCarthy works great counts. Did get a walk in the 7th, so I really misspelled that right there. But he's going to try to get on base for UMass. More on base, the better. As the 3-1. Outside, ball 4, another walk for McCarthy. And 2 men on now for UMass, as that will send up Sam Hill, the 9-hitter, for the Minutemen.
Well, all of a sudden, just a little bit of pressure here being asserted on the part of the Minutemen. So it does, I mean, the game is not over yet, evidently, and UMass will not go quietly into that good night once again in a significant deficit, but the offense not ready to give up just yet, and that is the exact kind of fight that you want to see out of them if you're Coach Reynolds.
First pitch from Blankenship. Sam tried to lay down a bunt, but then pulled back last and called a strike, 0-1. Blankenship working fast in his pitch clock. And the 0-1. Outside slider missed, count 1-1.
The distinct slider-ish motion just dropped way out there.
UMass 2 outs now, not on 2-out counts, but currently no outs currently. They're only 1 for 9. The pitch inside, it hits Sam Hill on the, it hits him on the elbow. He is in some serious pain. Trainer's coming out.
Was it the elbow or the hand?
He's holding his elbow / shoulder or hand. It was inside fire, and Blankenship throws gas. And he is not moving. That will put the bases loaded with no outs. Matt Reynolds is kind of hovering as the trainer looked at Sam Hill. Hill obviously not played a lot of at-bats for UMass, but this was a great spot for him, but who knows, it may go worse for wear.
In a great deal of pain by the looks of things. I mean, he's crouched, he's doubled over at the ground there. I mean, you absolutely need those, you absolutely need your hand, need your arms to be in good shape in order to swing, and it does seem as though he really took quite a number on it there. I don't know if he'll be able to take his base. I think he might have to have someone run for him by the looks of things. Just hope that he doesn't miss that much time.
That's right. He still hasn't moved, really. They may pinch hit for him here. Plenty of options on UMass's bench. But coming up now is Anthony Tirado, top of the lineup, no outs for UMass. And this is exactly what UMass will need. Obviously, sucks that it had to come at the expense of a hard hit by pitch. But he's getting up now, walking the first base. The bravery of this man is unmatched. And now Anthony Tirado.
You have to admire the endurance out of all of UMass's players so far. I mean, they've endured a lot today. A couple of guys who've gotten bludgeoned behind the plate or at the plate or even out in the field, but they play through it and they try their best to do the best they can for their teammates. I really admire that.
Tirado comes up now, 1 for 3 on the day with a single. And the first pitch is called a strike on the inside part of the plate, count 0-1.
The weather is still sweet and clear out here.
71 degrees by my estimations. I know it, but I also checked my watch. The pitch 0-1 is swung on and fouled behind the home plate over the grandstand. Count 0-2 now. And this is exactly what Blankenship needs. Now back in a good stance way, Tirado before the power hitters come up. And the pitch high, count 1-2. Good eye.
Well, this is about as good as it will get. Anthony Tirado, he could hit into a double play here and still score a run.
It's true, but not exactly what UMass needs. They need bulk runs as the 1-2 now. Just high, good take from Tirado. Count 2-2 here with no outs. In the bottom of the 9th, the score for this game is 13-5 right now. GW leads. UMass has 5 runs on 5 hits. GW has 13 on 12. Looking to get more runs in the bottom of the 9th here is UMass. The pitch is swung on and missed. Strike 3. Tirado down on strikes after working back into the count 2-2. Wow. And that will put 1 on the board.
That pitch looked like it was maybe an inch or 2 on the inside. It was close. But it does seem as though Tirado might have been trying to play a little bit of hero ball. I mean, I'd say hero ball. Tried just to make sure to get the run in and maybe swung a little bit too far inside. Did not get rewarded for it.
Matt Travisano up now as the first pitch from Blankenship is called a strike. Travisano on the day, 2 for 4, 2 singles, and it's also 2 strikeouts. Got that nice infield single that was able to produce a run actually, but now trying to provide more as the 0-1 is in the dirt, 1-1.
Travisano likes to hold those hands way up and almost in on his right ear.
Travisano has also yet to hit a home run, and wouldn't this be the time for it? The 1-1 pitch from Blankenship is swung on and fouled back. Oh, I was going to get that, but it's just too far for me. Ball hits the road and into the tennis court. A lovely little souvenir for those tennis players.
They just look behind them. They're like, "What's that? What's this detritus on our court?"
Not detritus, it's baseball, Finn, the most luxurious item on earth. Now 2 from Blankenship, swung on, fouled into the dugout. Count 1-2 still.
Well, Travisano staying with it, managing to stay alive, make contact. That's what he's good at. You don't manage to lead your league or lead your team in hits and multi-hit games without a good 2-strike approach.
That's right, Finn. Baseballs were a commodity in ancient times. They would be worth a lot. As the pitch swung on, parachute is not swung on. It's called strike 3 pairs for Matt Travisano, and UMass is down to their final out, bottom of the 9th.
Quite a few more strikeouts than tradition for Matt Travisano. As, hey, a strike thrown by the kid, getting the ball back to UMass. Behind us out there, is just someone retrieving the foul ball.
Carter Hansen, UMass's last hope with the base loaded, steps up to the plate. It's 1 for 4 on the day with an RBI double in the 4th. As Blankenship trying to end this game. The first pitch, high curveball outside, 1-0.
And the neon bat did not go around.
Finn, that bat might be igniting electricity or being that one light source, because the lights have started to dim here at Earl Lorden, and that
bat is the beacon.
Is a beacon.
It's the lighthouse.
The 1-0. Swung on and hit in the air. It's through. It's a base hit. Scoring is Colbin. Rounding at third is Riccardi. He will score easily. It's an RBI double. It's an RBI single for Hansen. And UMass is only now down by 6. It's 7-13. GW.
That was exactly what UMass needed. They were not too far off from leaving the bases loaded, but a good, patient outcome from that at-bat for Carter Hansen. Gets ahead in the at-bat and then gets a pitch that he can drive. And the trouble with that swing was really that he hit it too hard. If he hit it more softly, he might have been able to get 2 bases out of it, but of course you can't complain about managing to do your job.
Jag up now as he takes the first pitch, the strike. It's the inside corner of 1. It was a very hard line drive, Finn. If it was hit softer, it might have been caught by the first baseman there. Gets through very safely. Count 0-1 now. The pitch is just low, 1-1.
Well, sometimes, I think that it would seem as though the offense is really starting to come through, starting to come alive for UMass. Scored 5 in the first game, 7 today. So it does seem as though they are in good shape as they head into that Sunday game.
The 1-1 is swung on and fouled down the third baseline, out of play. Count will be 1-2 now. GW trying to close out UMass down in the last strike here to help UMass's hopes of getting a one win out of this 2-game series here in the doubleheader. The pitch, strike 3, a pair of shoes to end the game, Finn. Called strike 3, and Beverly does not like it. He's walking back, he is shaking his head, but that will end the game. George Washington University wins 13-7 in the second game of a doubleheader as they win both games to close out this Friday. It was a beautiful game of baseball, Finn, but unfortunate for UMass not to get the result they wanted.
Well, Alex, it was the best weather that we've got for a call this season so far, I'd have to say, as the teams line up for their high fives. And it was a very impressive outing from the offense. 7 runs scored. That's exactly what they were looking for. Good, patient effort from the at-bat, from the batters. Good, timely hitting to get runs to score. The trouble was that too often the pitchers fell behind in counts. They walked many batters, and then by being behind, they ended up having to throw some hangers for strikes, and that ended up burning them in the end. So The issues with control, which have really defined the season for UMass, have gone on. Unfortunately, Kalen Powers, who was really the big hope for them today, didn't quite come through as they had hoped to. But congratulations to Vance Bonyar for making his pitching debut in college. It was a great first outing for his strikeouts, so hopefully the start of a very fortuitous pitching effort for him here with the men.
That's right, Finn. UMass hopes to recover and take at least one game out of this series on Sunday at 12 p.m. Eastern Time here at Earl Lorden Field. It'll be a slightly colder day, but it'll be a fun one, and Finn and I will be here to call it. It's been a great day to call baseball. A great stream. Thank you everyone for listening here on the UMass YouTube stream. And we'll be coming to you soon. Thank you everyone, and stay safe and enjoy your Friday here on the 91.1 FM YouTube stream for WMUA Sports. Thank you.